All right.
Meredith, concussions are not good.
When I went
Second concussions are particularly not good. Don't do it again, okay?
Meeting of the Board of County Commissioners for Custer County will be called to order. Let the record show today is April the 2nd. Time is 9:00 a.m. Wonder if Mr. Jeff Uthier would mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning, sir.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. Madam Clerk to the board, would you conduct the roll call, please?
Commissioner Flower.
Present.
Commissioner Candy.
Here.
Commissioner Prince.
Here.
Attorney Clint Smith.
Present.
And clerk to the board, Kelly Camper, present. Forgot who I was.
Thank you, ma'am. Amendments to the agenda, gentlemen?
I have none, sir.
Nor do I.
None.
Mr. Canada. Don't believe we have any minutes to approve today. We'll do that tomorrow. Commissioner items. Commissioner Canada, would you like to begin?
Done a lot since Thursday, except work.
Gonna do audience.
Audience introduction.
Oh, sorry. Jumped right over.
Jackie Pubis for the Sentinel.
Roger Squire, Road and Bridge.
Jeff Uthier, Forest Service. John Carroll, VSO.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
2 R's and 2 L's.
Yes, ma'am.
Carol.
It's an unusual spelling for John.
Yeah, it is. All right. Commissioner Canada, would you like to begin?
Sure, it's only been, a couple days. We had a CenturyLink meeting after our meeting on status. I thought that was a pretty good meeting. We were all at. They'll be back. There is an issue with our next meeting that we scheduled. The library is not available. So we might,
What date was that? Do you
May
remember?
the 7th, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, May
Yeah, I have it
7th.
on May 7th, 2 o'clock.
And a Bridge Club's in there, so there's no way of rescheduling
Oh,
that Bridge
no,
Club. That is sacrosanct.
Is this room available?
Yeah, I would suggest using this room, probably.
Yeah, it should be. So let's just leave it on that date and change the
Let's just
location, huh?
put this room for the CenturyLink update on the Wetmore / broadband problem we got.
What date
Or
was
phone
that?
problem.
May 7th, 2 o'clock.
In here.
Yeah, and in the meantime, also been working, trying to gather up information on our water issue with Upper Ark, and trying to find out where people are, what we're doing, and I know we got a discussion on some of that at the end of this meeting.
Okay. Commissioner Prince.
Really the same thing. I attended this CDOT meeting and I've been involved in discussions on water multiple times between then and this morning.
Yeah, same with me. I mean, obviously we all attended the CDOT CenturyLink meeting. CDOT wasn't there, but and then yesterday I sat in on a meeting with Vic and Jackie and others discussing the upcoming Planning Commission meeting on the 15th and 16th
Of this month.
May of April. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
I wish I could get that on the schedule.
Yeah. 1:30 on the 15th and 6 to 8 on the 16th. Yeah.
6 to 8.
Are those going to both be in the courtroom?
Yes.
You said it's what, 6 to 8 in the evening?
Yeah, on the
1:30
16th.
on the 15th and 6 to 8.
Yeah, they wanted an afternoon and an evening meeting so
Okay.
they could get as much input as they could. That's really all I've done. Anything else, gentlemen?
Yes.
Okay, we'll move on. Attorney items.
I prepared a proposed resolution because the request was made at our last meeting to open up a portion of or reopen a portion of County Road 386 that's been closed since the Junkin fire, so I prepared that resolution for your consideration. Also, in my capacity as a member of the Weed Board, I prepared a proposed waiver of liability. The Weed Board intends to loan out equipment to people that want to spray their own weeds, and I took a stab at preparing a waiver for those people to sign, which we'll discuss at our next Weed Board meeting, April 16th, I think is the date.
Let me look. Or did they roll that into May?
I'm not sure.
I think they did. We have
May, I
It's in May now?
I do
Okay.
believe it's May.
That's right. Okay, so I got
Yes.
that. Anyway, we'll talk about that. I see we got this letter, I just saw it last night, from JNR, the collection agency, JNR Adjustment Company.
Right.
So the same thing, that $345, that 2% charge that they put on that bill for where Road and Bridge did some damage to the CenturyLink.
Bridge.
I guess their underground line that went across where the cattle guard is on 254.
Did they double the interest?
I haven't done that yet, but there's no acknowledgement of the letter I sent them last time, so I'll deal with it again and print out a copy of that letter and say, here's our response. We're not going to pay this charge. We paid the claim promptly. I guess I would need to find out exactly when that was paid, but
Yeah.
I'll get that from Donna.
Okay, and that's on the agenda for tomorrow's meeting?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, consideration of that letter and what to do about it.
I'll
so.
have another letter
Okay.
prepared to deal with that. And the other thing on this falls in the category of show and tell.
Nice.
I got this yesterday. I thought, wow, this must be important. This is just what Mark Howard filed with the court.
No pictures?
No, well, there is a picture of him in here, but
Since
I
the
want to see what he
hearing.
looks like.
I know this is just that he filed just last
Oh, just
Friday.
a filing.
Yeah, I mean he's filed at least this much
That's how he makes
already,
his living.
yeah, but these were just some recent ones that they now have to
People
go to the trouble of
pass on
sending
this
to me.
page.
This is costing them so much time, you know, the manpower, person power over there. For dealing with these, the judge has to deal with all these. I mean, all these are crazy motions, and where she just denies everything. But
So we
He's
were
just
wrong
going-
in our assessment that it might have
no, it's legal.
slowed him down.
Well, it slowed him down as far as bothering us. He's
Well, true, yeah.
he's not. He hasn't sent anything other than sending Jay an email where he wanted to hire Jay because he's such a great lawyer. After vilifying Jay for the last couple of years,
Right.
the truth has finally come out. And I also got a copy of an email from Fremont County. The county attorney there keeps me posted. And he's gone off on a totally different track now where he wants the Fremont County Commissioners, and this is an email he sent to the Fremont County Commissioners, he wants them to buy him a Humvee so he can patrol the area up there. He still thinks he's going to provide law enforcement in that area of Fremont County, but he needs this Humvee with armor plating. And so that's what he's talking about now with them, but he isn't bothering us directly, except that the court they're obligated to send me everything he files. And I'm pretty sure that the judge is going to put an end to this, especially with this torrent of motions that came in. So,
Wow.
and she has the authority to do it with a court order that can back her up and hold him in contempt if he keeps on doing this. That's all I had for attorney items.
Okay, thank you, sir. Admin assistant. Okay. Public comment? Yes, ma'am.
Are we meeting at the airport mid-month? Okay. Okay, because does it still say Whitmore up there?
I don't know.
And on
I brought that up.
No, oh,
the
yeah, yeah.
county calendar it said Whitmore. Or at least it did.
Okay.
I did let Bill know, so
Yeah.
I don't know whether that changed, but
I brought it up. Meredith's going to look into it.
I just want to make sure I'm in the right place. It's bad.
We don't want to be like Clint.
Well,
Missed the boat. Right, Clint?
I may go to
You're
Wetmore
done
and check
with
it out.
You could go tell us what it would have been like.
leave early.
Get the spider out, check on it.
So you're saying on this calendar here, it originally showed Wetmore?
It does still.
Yeah. And I thought on our, let me look here. I'm
I
on
just
the-
wanted to make sure,
No,
you know,
good
and
point, yeah.
make sure the
It's not a
citizens
Commissioner
can.
Kanda mentioned that this morning. Let me look here real quick on our meeting schedule.
It was, yeah, several agendas that weren't correct apparently, or not posted. That was, somebody else brought it up.
We got no problem getting our thumb in the admin assistant's eye if we have to get things.
Wait,
Gotta straighten her up.
just gotta hit it.
That's, at least that's what Commissioner Prince told me this morning, that we didn't have a problem doing that. I didn't really respond.
Yeah, there you go.
I feel you under the old proverbial, baby. Let me
Trust me
see.
many times.
Meeting dates, I'm trying to make sure, yeah. April 17th, we have it on our regular meeting date document that it's in Silver West Airport. So, that's what happens
And
when
what
you
about
threaten to
your-
poke somebody in the eye.
And what about your calendar? Do you know where that
I'm
is?
looking.
I'm changing it right now.
And we do need to get the calendar that's that we use posted so people pull into that.
Well, and when
that
there are
free
like
calendar we have.
afternoon meetings and stuff, you know, it's nice to have it up there.
Now, when you say calendar, which one are you talking about?
The one at the top of the BOCC
Oh, okay.
page, there's a thing that says
Okay.
calendar.
Calendar. Yeah.
Right, I'm on a whole nother page now.
Well, I know
but,
you guys have your own calendar,
yeah.
but.
That's not the
I
one
have
you're
I'm
one.
talking
changing it right now.
Even our own calendar needs to be updated. So.
April 17th, airport.
Is it on there?
Yeah.
Good.
Commissioner Prince, if there are any more noises coming from your end of the conference room today,
Was that a phone call or was that a
I'm
message?
sorry. I'm usually very good.
let me
about
just
that.
make,
Sounds like
oh
a
yeah.
druid in England.
Oh, that's funny. That is funny. Love it. Love it. Yeah, I
I've
love
never
it when
done
somebody
that.
else's phone, because then I just kind of gradually look at mine and make sure mine's not going to do it next. Oh, Lordy.
It's changed.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I got an April calendar that's good.
Commissioner Page. Oh, says on here, airport.
Very good, very good. She's way
Thank you,
past-
Meredith.
Just magically did it.
Appreciate that. Anything else? Public comment? Okay, we'll move on. Staff reports, landfill, recycling. Top of the morning. Sunshine.
How you doing?
How are you?
Good.
Good. Any of your electronic devices gonna go off this morning?
No, I shut it off. I don't think
Can't
it went
risk
over
Rusty-
too good that
Rusty
one
learns.
time when it did happen. So.
How are you?
Okay.
Good.
Don't have much going on actually, except for smashing trash. So, but this is updated quarterly report from what I sent you guys the other day.
Okay. So there's some changes on here. Yep.
Yeah, it's a little more. That's the full quarter
Okay.
revenue. And I put the first quarter for 2018 on the bottom down here too, so it's a little different, but
Good.
I think that's just because our disposal trucks were down for so long.
Okay. First quarter of 2018
Yeah, down here.
or 2019?
2019 is up here on top.
Yeah, so that's just a comparison.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So 41 to 40, right?
Right.
Although as we speak. Oh, okay. Yeah. So the one you sent us isn't accurate.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. So I'm just gonna delete it or I'll be in trouble. Be quoting stuff that's,
Yeah, turn it in before the end of the month, and so
So is this hard copy correct, Meredith?
the one I just gave
Is
you
this the one you just gave us? So,
That's the one you gave
yeah,
me.
okay, that's the one you, okay, it's not
Yeah.
separate. Thanks.
Anything else shaking out there? Big time?
I'm gonna have to get a grader out there one of these days to clean up some
Bumpy.
bumpy ruts and whatnot. I'll have to follow that from road and bridge.
How's your new truck?
Yeah.
I'm heading down
I think
there
I saw you driving.
today.
To get it?
Really?
Not for. I'm gonna go down there and find out what
Oh,
is
you're not
really
driving it home.
going on.
Yeah, he thought you were going to drive it home today.
That's what I was
I
thinking.
wish that was. I wish that was right, but no.
Not the case.
This is
I heard
unconscionable.
rumors
How long
still
couldn't
coming
you ask
across.
for this?
So it's gonna be a face-to-face with some people down there
Been
today.
what, 4 or 5 months maybe?
Ordered
3
it in
months?
November.
November.
But you had it so customed up, you're having a hard time.
Yeah.
Such a basic pickup, you know. What is the problem here?
That's unconscionable.
I may be a paragraph behind, but did you talk about your skid steer? Dude, you said
We
it-
will know April 29th on that.
Nice.
So that'll be good. And Four Rivers is holding that skid steer for us. So.
Which is,
And they said that's not a problem. They can do that. Okay.
must have an abundance of them, wishing they could sell them.
Actually, they sell those that size pretty fast. But they feel pretty good about us getting that grant, so they say, well, we'll hold it for you. So. And we have a pretty good working relationship with them down there, too, so
Do
it
they
works
sell
out.
pickup trucks?
yeah. Four Rivers, maybe we buy one of their trucks.
Yeah.
So what if it's got a
Yeah.
maintenance bed on it with
Right.
toolboxes?
Right.
Well, my
Be just
recycle
fine.
experimental partner is arriving today. He's been gone in Texas for a couple weeks. So hopefully we're going to drag his tree shredder out this week, maybe over the weekend. Try a little recycling experiment.
I heard today that the paper mills are closed until sometime in April.
Where? In the whole
Everywhere.
state or in the whole U.S.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
We're going to try running cardboard through a tree shredder and see if we can come up with livestock bedding. That's going to be the first deal.
Well, that might gum her up.
We're going to find out.
Maybe not.
That'd be an
Be an
interesting.
old mill, an
I think it would
old
be fun.
grain mill, or
No,
what?
tree shredder.
A tree shredder itself. Man.
So we'll see. We're going to take,
Spit it out.
pull the tape off of it, pull the tape out of it.
Who's this for?
Well, America. If it works.
America
feel
needs an
that.
entrepreneur for
That's
this.
right.
The national anthem playing in the background.
If it works, I'll be resigning this position the day after tomorrow.
Tom's betting.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see.
Be interesting.
Yeah.
Keep me posted on that. I'd like to know how
Yeah.
that turns out.
Yeah, I see our buddy next door had a shredder sitting over here in his yard. And I thought, well, if he doesn't get back from Texas pretty soon, I'll talk to Goebel and use his. But
So you got a tree shredder lined up?
yeah, Lynn Legree's got one.
Who does it?
That's agreed to make a run at it. So we'll see.
Yeah,
That would be my
Interesting.
contribution to landfill in the United States. So
there you go.
So what would you do with it out there? What would be what could you use it for?
well, we hope livestock bedding.
Just to make it and store it? We have it available maybe? Sell it?
Sell it.
You know, if you could do something with plastic.
Build a building
Yeah,
and put it
well,
in.
that's
Can't get
next.
it wet.
Yeah.
That's next.
That's an interesting idea, though. It really is. See how that works out.
Just had to throw that in there. We talked about it
Yeah,
a week
right.
or so ago.
Right.
Good. Anything else,
But the
though?
paper mills are closed right now, and they said that they're not going to open until sometime in April again. So,
A couple of weeks to make a big deal in that industry. Huh?
and so then when they do open up again, they're going to be flooded with cardboard. So we're going to have to hold on to ours until who knows when.
Yeah.
For shredder works, we'll just shred it all.
We shred it.
Make it go away.
Do it on a windy day and it'll just.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was the commissioner that, no, that was the commissioner that brought that idea up. No, I don't believe it. I think you were serious. All right, well,
But that's about all that's going on, so I'm gonna head to Wilcox and GMC.
good. All right, sir, thank you.
You know? I don't get it.
Business like
You guys
that.
are holding me up.
Yes, well, the coroner thinks you're holding him up, because we told him he could have that pickup.
Who?
The coroner,
Oh. Which pickup?
the one you're supposed to be getting. That's the only reason we're interested if you got her.
No. Cold day
Not-
tomorrow,
not
take the
gonna-
rest of the day off.
Not gonna work. He's on his own, in other
That's
words.
for you.
I'm going down there.
Early retirement,
Okay,
what?
but the coroner's on his own.
He'd be on his own.
Okay,
Yeah, he'd be on his own.
see you later. Good luck. Oh, gosh.
Funny.
Roten Bridge. Mr. Roger, good morning,
right.
sir. How are you?
I'm here by again.
Yeah,
There you are.
A new face.
that's right.
How are you, sir?
Yeah, I guess Gary's on vacation, huh?
Oh, he's trying to drown
He's
the
gonna go-
worm, trying to snag a striper.
Weed board's the 21st of May. Good.
All right, gentlemen, you've gotten a chance to look at everything, so I'll just run down where we're at. We're grading roads, grading bad spots. I'm trying to get caught up today on a bad spot on Tanglewood, and then.
Yeah, we don't have any report from Road and Bridge.
Oh, really? Okay. Well, cool.
So,
Then here we go.
yeah. So we can't hold
You will
to
now, I'll
anything. Yeah,
bet.
that's right.
So anyway, today I've got a blade out on Tanglewood. The first part of it's got about 8-inch ruts in it, so we'll get it taken care of. Then he's going to slip over on Colfax, and then we've got about a half a dozen spots up in Junkins Park. That for right now, all we're going to do is just get them smoothed up.
Did you finish Great Creek, Copper Gulch?
No, I want to do one more section, and we're waiting for a locate on it, and I would like to do the section from Reed Road
Yeah.
this way to the bottom of the hill.
I had somebody worrying about it. I thought you guys did a great job pulling the shoulders up, maybe getting the ruts out of it and doing all that good stuff. However, there are a couple people that were concerned because it's narrower,
If
and apparently, I don't know if that's the end product yet.
if this continues to be a problem, that's solved easily enough without
Yeah.
disturbing our gravel. We can pull the shoulder to the shoulder and then smooth it out. We'll pack it in, and we can pick up some width that way. If they continue to.
And then one other issue, this brand new. There was a citizen that lives out there, Pat Neverdall. Do you know Pat?
Yeah, I do.
And he pulled over to pass the motor grader, and he ended up getting sucked into the ditch because it's pretty narrow. So then he came back up on top and crossed the berm, and in the berm was a rock, which knocked out his drive line. And so I said, well, we got to talk about who's liable on that. Maybe it seems like we can do that, right? So
I can tell you.
Pat, I think we'll have to fix his drive line.
Yeah.
I told him he should just have been more careful.
That's exactly correct.
Well, he's got to be careful.
His,
That's what I
But he
told
couldn't
him.
see the rock in it because it was buried in the berm.
And guys, this has been a problem out there, and as soon as I can get these guys off that road,
Better.
it needs to happen, because those people have no clue what 25 mile an hour means.
Yeah.
Absolutely none. These guys are doing 60 and 70 hitting them berms, and it
Really?
doesn't bother. It doesn't slow
Hitting the
down a
berms?
bit. So anyway, to answer that question, and Clint, if we're signed, which it was, and he had his speed limit signs posted with his road work ahead, which when we first started this, we talked with Shannon, and he said,
as long as you've got a speed limit posted, which it does it, right but below our road work ahead signs is a posted speed limit. So then our signs were out, so the liability that covers our fanning.
Well, but I don't know, Raj, even if he was going 25 and came off into the ditch, and he's got a four-wheel up out of it, well, just, proven innocent until proven guilty. We got to figure out how we're going to make sure that, was he speeding? If he was going 60, that's one thing, passing that. And it's another one just to get in the ditch and then to try to get himself out of it. He wasn't going unless he was, we just need to understand the whole picture.
Okay, so what they do is they don't have time to stop for 2 seconds to let a blade get out of the way. And for the most part, 5-10 seconds. That's all they've got to wait, maybe a minute. And no, first thing they do is they bail off in the bar pit and then haul fanny. And most of them just love to come up out of the bar pit and stand on it and screw up the road that you've got that you're working on. And that's one of the worst roads we have as far as people not
especially
slowing
when you
down.
get her smoothed up.
Yeah, it's just friggin' terrible. The first thing they do is they bail. We put flat bottoms in stretches where we could. And so, boy, they just bail off in there. Well, what he did is bailed off, came back up, and he didn't slow down.
I told him to talk to you about it. Did he talk to you?
He has not.
That was on Saturday or something.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily see liability based on that.
I don't either if that's what he was doing.
No.
I mean, it wasn't necessary that he had to cross the
It
road.
absolutely was not necessary.
Once he came out of the ditch,
Yeah.
he could have stayed on the side.
Yeah.
There was enough room.
Well, he didn't even need to go to the ditch. All they're trying is, oh my God, they got to be somewhere. So they're going to go around the blade. They're going to do some of the most stupidest crap you can imagine out there. And I kid you not, and they do.
I'm sure.
So, Pat has not contacted me yet.
Let us know when he does.
Yeah.
If he does.
All right.
I told him if he had a major issue, there's a public comment, he could come tell us. But
Yeah.
I also told him that the likelihood of him getting the county to pay for a repair with him going off the edge of the road around a rotor-blade was probably slim and zero. But if he wanted to complain, he's welcome to, and that's why we have a public comment area.
Well, that's right.
That road, that particular road there, we've seen in the, let's call it the last 10, 12 years. And, I've been on here, it'll be 46 years in November, but anyway. We've seen oil pans. We've seen transmission pans.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
How'd they drive? I guess
Oh, they just hit that window. They don't care.
Totally.
Boom, boom, boom. And what's really cool is when you've got when the belly dumps dump, and these friggin' idiots can't see the cone right at the end of your dump at the beginning.
Oh, yeah?
Oh,
Hit that head on?
Boom. There they are.
Scott said one day one guy was like almost airborne because
Yeah.
he hit it so hard.
Oh, yeah, they do.
Really?
See, they will not slow down.
And you always put a little sign up when you work on roads that says road work ahead, that type of thing. So
That's exactly correct.
Yeah,
We
it's
do.
certainly not the
And
legal
right below that
counsel,
is
yeah, but it sounds
a
like
posted speed
there,
limit sign.
sounds like there's plenty of notice.
It is. It is. And I try to make sure the guys do at least 300 feet prior to the work zone,
Yeah, I don't know what
which
else
is
you could do.
according to Mutsid.
Yeah, I thought about proposing just shut the road down entirely and let them deal with that for a day or two.
Oh, Lord.
Now we'll fill the room with people.
That'd go like a
I don't
screen
like
on
all
a
that.
submarine.
Anyway, I thought he was doing a good job out there, and
Yeah.
I just worried a little
They
bit
are.
about it being narrow.
They are.
It got pretty.
And if we continue to hear that, we can solve that problem. It-
Yeah.
Eventually, the traffic will work the material
Well, it gets
off.
pushed out
And
anyway.
if in blading it, we'll work it back out. But that's an easy fix if we really need to do that.
You're still talking about copper gulch out there.
Yes. Any other road that we work on, if it becomes a problem, that way we can remedy it.
Sure.
It's not a big deal. So.
It'd be nice to think the narrower the road is, maybe they would pay a little more attention to the speed.
I'll tell you what the guys have noticed. They're seeing these drivers are 10 and 2.
Yeah, instead of gazing around.
Yeah.
So
Jackie
That's
got
what
caught.
That's what I thought when I
Your
drove
phone was
over
better,
it, was
Jim.
maybe they pay a little more attention if it
Yeah.
doesn't look like a
They do.
runway.
They do. That comment was made by one of the truck drivers with blade hands. They,
Tack strips out there instead of that.
yeah, but
So you heard Rusty mention little blade work up there at the landfill. There's a chance one of your operators could wing in there on the way to.
Rusty does that himself.
Oh, he does.
He gets a blade and he goes and does it himself. So that's not an issue. It might be when we get going crazy here for a little while. Right now, we've got a couple blades available. I've got the one that we kind of considered a spare is on our Junkins Park project. But we'll get to that. Did you guys get one of these at all? All right.
You want to give it to
Meredith, would you run that for me, please? And here's the fuel. That just shows you the
Right.
usage of fuel. And you guys, of course, have our budget stuff, so you know kind of where we're at with the budget.
Haven't seen that either.
There's only two items that we're over on, and those are just administrative issues that, one of them was 500 and the other one was 300 in administrative stuff. Bless you.
Well, Meredith's getting at, there was another issue that came up, and I think Gary may have talked to you. I'm not sure who it was sent to. I forwarded it to Gary, and there was the Colonel Verde boys were worrying about roads in and K and whatever that the county has not accepted, but they have been, quote, approved as a county right-of-way. And Gary and I talked about what the criteria is to accept a road and bring it up to specs to be able to maintain. And even if it is, we don't necessarily take them on because there's not enough.
That is correct.
We don't have the ability to do that. So there still is an issue between the homeowners association and what our obligation is. So there's just the history. Do you know how it was accepted, Roger? Because we don't.
I'll tell you how it was accepted. The road boss at that particular time went out and says, well, we'll take this road, we'll take that road. It was all a judgment call. That came to be with Antelope Valley also. Antelope Valley, we have every road in Antelope Valley. Corner Verde, I don't know how they, how they decided, well, listen, yeah.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
I was specifically asked about 328K.
Yeah.
Is that one you do, or is that part of the subdivision?
All that means, guys, and what I've tried to do all along is on signage, is if it's a county road, we'll do like CO road such and such. Anytime Vertimont, for example, Rosita Hill or Rosita Town proper, you'll see 328K. All that is that means that's a non-county maintained access.
Got it.
That's where these other roads in Corner Verde are going to fall at this point in time. They did one road in Corner Verde that they wanted to bring up to county specs. Hobby did the work on it. Shoshone is the road that they did. The county took it after Hobby went in
Brought
and
it up.
supposedly put it up to county specs.
So you're maintaining it and plowing it in the winter and all that.
Yep. That's the only one since I've been with the county, or since those roads were taken over. That's the only one that was ever any work done on it and accepted.
I don't know what Gary's going to do, but somebody probably ought to talk to whoever's complaining about
He
it
is.
and make sure that it's they understand the criteria.
He is. He's talking to the HOA president. So, and that's all I know. He doesn't fill me in on much. So.
Okay.
What's the plan for Willow? Sorry, not Willow. Muddy.
next to it.
Muddy, all we can do on it. Right now, it's just let it get firmed up again, and then we can blade it. If we go blade it right now, what happens is we leave ruts about like that with our blade. So we've bladed it several times. I've tried several different ways to do that to make it work, and it just doesn't work because it's too soft. I would like to see us, we have an opportunity to get some more of that gray stuff. I would love to try and experiment with that in our gravel sometime. I think combining the two, I think that'd make a tough surface. Because right now where we've got that gray stuff, people complain about it, but it gets a little washboarded, nothing like the rest of it. But
Yeah, those people are losing their minds up there. Their vehicles, they're getting beat to death. So I've had several calls about that stretch. So I said I would bring it up and have a discussion about that.
we can certainly go up there and try, but it's going to be a matter of getting on, knocking the ruts down just enough, getting on and getting off of it. It's not going to be anything major as far as flat blading, because it will make it worse. No, yeah.
Renter called me and asked if there was a possibility of looking at scheduling, reestablishing the borrow ditches along Muddy.
That was,
They're gonna tear that fence out on the south, and rebuild all that fence. And thought if there was a chance to get in there and do some borrow pit work while the fences were gone, then he would wait and rebuild his fence after that. Hoping that re-establishing the borrow pits in there would also help draw that water out from
it
underneath.
absolutely would, but we're going to have to wait till November-ish, and otherwise we can't keep anything up. There's several different ways we could try it with those six-wheel drives, but we'd have to keep one up in the road, keep them tied together.
Yeah, and he'd want to re-establish the fence before he turns
Yeah.
cows back in there after the haying season.
So it's, Gary and I talked about doing that prior to this snow and everything coming. We talked about doing it in November. Well, I told him, I said, I would dearly love to get in there and bring those berms in, bring that all up, and then set it down with that roller and then gravel it. But that didn't happen. That white stuff happened first. So.
Well, it's wet enough to do some good now. If you can do some
Well,
good.
it's too wet.
It is
That's
too wet now.
in muddy.
Let it dry out a little bit.
Oh God, yeah, we wouldn't be able
You
to
can
get
still
in
do
there
that.
and do any major construction
Yeah.
until November probably. Once it starts freezing, then it's not a big deal because you get, if you work it, you get about that much frost during the night, and you can still go back in and work it some more. But
Yeah, and he will have replaced that fence by then, so.
thank you.
Thanks.
But it's still, that fence is far enough back, both sides of the road, that we could get in there and do some real damage on it.
And you say you're getting ready, roads ready for mag chloride. What roads are in the works for that?
That'll be Copper Gulch from Chip Seal to Reed Road, 255 from Silver Cliff to County Line, 271, well, I gotta go, 328, Rosita Road from Chip Seal to Highway 96. What did he tell me the other day?
Because you did that last year
271.
too, right? 328.
Correct. Those, we're looking at doing 5/10ths on those, doing 2500ths at a time.
So you're picking it up where you left off, or are you putting
No.
it on top?
Doing it
You're,
again.
you're trying to build it up, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
So all those roads are ready for another shot. And like I said, that we'll do those 2500ths and then go move back, do the other 2500ths, and then move back. That way we don't lose the product and it doesn't get quite as tacky as trying to put down 2500ths, turning around and putting another 2500ths on. That makes it pretty hairy. It's hairy enough as it is, but once it gets set down, as everybody knows, probably been on some of our roads that haven't, it's a product well worth having. It does save us probably at least 3 or 4 bladings a year on major arteries like Rosita Road, 255, Copper Gulch.
And you're widening and restructuring of 358.
That's a great project,
I
guys.
don't know that 358.
It's,
I remember.
do you know, does any of you know where the first entrance to Puma Canyon subdivision is? Just before that, it was a blind corner. And so I took our dozer down, and Larry and Kevin have been working that. That's going to be a real nice project. We're already probably
So that's
70.
the Junkins Park loop going down and
Yeah,
around.
yeah. It's actually just before you get to Puma Canyon. If any of you happen to know where Stampers or Tories live, it's that corner there is our first one. We've got 3 other ones to work on, but we're probably 70% done with that one. Right now, we're taking some of that material. We've got a truck down there, one of our tandems is hauling to one of the bad spots above that. And he's been dumping there, just pushing it off with our loader. And then Larry keeps their loader down there with him, and they keep widening the road out. We use the excess material to dump over the bank. Really coming out nice. This will be a great project. You guys will be proud of it when we're done. I haven't talked to Gary yet, but I may end up talking to Andy Kagan about coming in. He's got a drill system set up on his skid steer. We've got one spot that he's not going to be able to work out. If we can get Andy to come in and drill that. He doesn't use dynamite. He uses a product that he pours in the hole, puts water in it, and it expands. It really works well. We had it done. He did a project for us on 255.
It'll break the rock and stuff.
It did.
How cool
It
is
does.
that?
And one thing nice about that is something we may want to look at later on is you don't have to have a blasting permit or any of that stuff.
Right.
All you got to do is go to Denver and anybody can use it. So
And the request from Fremont County, what's that about?
okay, that one there is Tony. Their truck that they use to put their mag down is down right now. He did not know if they would have it back up. Wondered what the possibilities was of using one of our trucks, which we have. One of those new trucks we used last year when we did the detour around. We used one of our trucks. The only thing we got to make sure is we clean it good every night. We run at least one full load through it.
When do you want to use it?
I'm not sure where they're Tony's wanting
So
to do
you'd have
this.
to deconflict it with your desire.
Yeah. Which, we can work around that. But
Done
that's,
that before, have you not shared equipment?
we have shared
I thought you
equipment. It's a real good working relationship. And this is not, affirmative yet. If they get their truck going, then they wouldn't need ours. But
Going to be the season.
yeah, things are, right now we're wanting to really get crazy on some roads that need major drainage. So we're looking
I got
at
2
doing those.
little things, Roger. I want to bring up. Our buddies down in Wetmore would like to have some handicap parking spot on that new asphalt in front of the library marked. You guys do that? Or do we have to find somebody that can paint them?
I don't know why we couldn't have Kevin and Larry do that. We just need to get the signs, and they can.
Put a sign in and put a hash mark or whatever you put in there. They want it on the south side.
Of the main entrance.
Yeah, that door on the south side. Because there's a ramp that can get a wheelchair up.
Okay.
You can talk to,
I'll talk to Larry and Kevin.
yeah.
I'll bet they can make that
Go
happen.
talk to them. And then the other thing, I was riding on Kettle Lane, you brought it up. You guys did a great job of mag chloride in the detour. And now it's looking pretty like it's holding the potholes.
Yep.
Doing a good job of it.
Yeah, just call them frost heaves.
Yeah.
And, you know, that's another instance. The more you're working, the worse they get. So,
Just to let you be aware.
boy,
Nobody's
you talk to
complaining, but
Mike and
I've been
Sarah.
riding them.
Do not touch our road.
Yeah, I know. Well, the
Leave
bottom's
our road.
getting real soft.
It
You know, that
is.
bottom's always bad. And it's
Yeah, it
getting to
is.
where you hit that and not hit it, but you drive into it and it feels like you're going into quicksand.
Yep. Yeah. One thing about it, we do have it signed pretty well as far as speed limits, but yeah, there is one spot that we'd like to do a little work on right there in front of
Nobody's complaining.
Jerry
They
and
might-
Mary's and Linda, Debbie's old place. Just a little build up. And get rid of that pond water right there that always sits there.
Good. Okay. And permits on the schedule for chip seal this summer, do you know?
Yeah,
It's getting bad.
it is.
You
That
keep
was.
putting a little bit of hot mix in there, but
Yeah.
not enough yet.
That's exactly what we'll do when we start running. We'll get that center covered because right now it's kind of like this,
Settling.
and it needs to come up so that we can get rid of that water pooling. Then we'll be ready for chip seal, and that gets chipped from 2nd Street to the intersection of
Macy.
no,
Kettle.
we'll take
Clear to
Kettle.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Don't know when that's scheduled.
Well, that was another question.
I don't. That one's up to Gary, but as soon as Fremont starts running asphalt, we'll probably jump on board and start then. I'd like to do that within the next month and a half. We like for the temperature to be, around 50, 55 degrees, so that when we lay asphalt on it, it sets inside of that other, marries together a lot better.
What's your plan, speaking of that, to get rid of that asphalt you pulled up and put in front of Elliot's barn? Is that something you're going to do with, or did Elliot want to use it?
No, he wanted it.
Is that where he wants it?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's where he wants it. That's where we put it.
Pile of stuff.
Yeah, it is.
All right, sir. Anything else?
Can we go ahead and bring Jeff up under, since we're kind of tied together as far as 386 and Road and Bridge? Can we bring Jeff up with?
This Jeff.
Yeah.
Sorry. One. Yeah, that's fine.
Outier.
Before you do that,
I think
can I
that'd
say
be
something?
marvelous.
Go ahead.
I wanted to bring this up during Road and Bridge,
Okay.
just for your
I'll
guys'
be here.
information.
Okay.
So every year I have to certify to the state how many vehicles we've registered for the year. In 2016, we registered 6,355. 2017, 6,504. So that was 149 more. 2018, 7,169. A difference at 665 more than the year before.
Vehicles.
10%.
Correlates
8%,
with
9% more.
people buying lots of cars if it's a family or more people, right?
So that goes to show you how many more vehicles are on the roads. I mean, that's
Yeah.
to go from 149 to 665, that's a huge jump.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like a 9% increase over last year.
And they all love to travel 15, 20 mile an hour over the
miles an hour.
speed limit. And do. Yeah, that's I'd love to have a copy of that.
Yeah.
Look at something here, Roger, real quick.
Oh, have you got an email, Roger?
Mhm.
Is it?
Roger,
Roger,
Custer County.
okay, I'll send it to you.
Custer County Gov.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've
Thank
got that 386 conversation on the agenda. We better wait.
Okay.
In the event somebody wanted to come in, I doubt they do, but if we were to jump it up to the staff reports, then
Okay.
we'd
Well, it's
be,
clear down the
we'd
bottom.
be kind of out of
Yeah,
it.
it is.
Well, could certainly poll the commissioners, see what they want to do about that. But we need to be a little bit careful.
You want
You have time
me to be here? I'll come back.
Why not?
Yeah.
Sounds like you wanted to
Yeah.
be involved.
Yeah.
What's your
All right.
opinions? You want to wait?
Yeah.
Okay.
Have you both seen a copy of the proposed resolution yet?
I have
Meredith
not.
could give it to them so they can look
Yeah.
at it and see if they want
I
any
have not.
changes to it.
Make a copy of that, ma'am. Yeah, I think we got to be careful about our agenda. Or we'll be
Yeah.
okay. All right.
Understandable.
Thank you, sir.
All right, guys. Yeah.
Meredith can give you a holler when we're
Perfect.
Thank
That'll
you.
work, guys. Appreciate it. But yeah,
Thanks,
that'll
Roger.
work good.
John, DSO. Good morning. Thank you, Roger.
You bet.
How are you, sir? Good to see you.
He's supposed to wear a suit every time. Remember
I know
how good
it.
he looked when he interviewed?
Yeah,
I thought we talked about that.
well, you know, I like breaking rules.
Maybe you're gonna ride that snowmobile today, so maybe that.
Yeah, that one's getting sold. I bought a really expensive toy, so to replace that. So it's been an interesting few weeks learning, and I'm learning that I don't know anything. So lots and lots of office visits. I'm sure that's a regular occurrence. As far as budget items, obviously on my budget, I did sign up for the conference in June. Conference was $450, and then the travel came out to $1,711. That's going to get me the national accreditation for the county veteran service officers, and then coming up in August, I'll do the state accreditation. On the 25th, Roger Watkins and I are going to be doing the training for the new appeals process. Right now, I'm holding off on any appeals because
Gonna change.
it's all new, and that just came into effect on February. You Tom, came in yesterday when I was talking to John Barentz, and John is going to be coming up on the 25th of April. We're going to do a community gathering. He's going to talk about the services that the Pueblo Vet Center can do for us. It's mainly focused on PTSD and things like that. So I've already talked to both newspapers about getting a small article in there, and I'm going to talk to the radio, trying to get as much word out as possible to try to get these veterans to come in.
What time is that?
It's going to be at 5:30 on the 24th.
Okay.
So when you say talk to radios, what does that mean? You're going to put an ad in periodically, or just this one time? Or what?
For this one, I want to, at least get as much advertisement out as possible, so that, it's hard to get these guys with PTSD to come in.
Sure.
So I talked to the Sentinel, and I've talked to the Tribune. We have to word it carefully, so it doesn't sound like it's a PTSD thing, come in to get help. I want to word it more as an informational thing, because sometimes these guys with PTSD, they just, you tell them they have PTSD, and I know,
Oh, no,
I don't have PTSD. So that's...
Well, the reason I asked is radio station does a pretty good job, I think, of these little vignettes they put out all the time.
And that's
Some
what I want
boy
to talk to him about.
Rode his bike cross country. I heard it about 2 weeks in a row, 3,
Yeah.
and they do a good job. So I think if you did spots on what your services are
Right.
regularly, not just focusing, but PTSD could be mentioned every time, but you could talk about things, maybe get a vet in and interview them for some of the things that are going on and what they think. There's local color kind of stuff.
And that's my
Know that you're up
plan.
here doing your thing.
That is my plan. I'm kind of just waiting till I get a better footing as far as understanding, the VA processes and stuff like that. Once I get back from training in June, I want to do an open house, and then I've already talked to the Tribune about doing a weekly, like, Veterans Corner, just talking about different benefits and things like that, so that we can kind of highlight what services we offer. I did start a Facebook page. I'm just kind of things that I get from the VA in emails and stuff like that. I'll put it on anything that sounds like it, is good informational stuff. I've started highlighting businesses that have veterans discounts. Yesterday I was at the Rotary Club meeting, gave a brief talk about what the Veteran Service Office can do, and Ace Hardware asked me to remind everyone that they offer a veterans discount. I know, I was there in the picture, so so I put that out on the Facebook page to any veterans owned businesses and discounts and things like that.
It's good. What is it? 5-10%?
For Ace Hardware, it's actually 10%.
Good.
Everything except for the really expensive lumberyard.
Except for what you really need.
So
Well, that happens.
I'm happy that people
That's good.
are working with, and it's a I can tell you now it's an interesting job. I get a lot of people just coming in and asking random questions that can be answered 5 seconds on Google. I had a Korean War veteran come in and wanted me to find him where he could buy his medals, buy a set of Korean War dog tags, and buy the old World War II clicker. And I went ahead and did it all for him online. I mean, just stuff like that is working well for community relations. So,
Right. Good.
and then
Can we look at your report? We didn't get a copy of that, so you can send those ahead of time. Oh,
You got it.
you do?
the only thing I did was I made a typo, and I'm going to blame Roger because I copied his and I spelled your name wrong, Tom.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes way beyond Roger. Tim could not seem to get his mind wrapped around that. So you can go ahead and talk about this if you want.
How many visits you had now?
15 phone calls, 28 office visits. I did do one home visit for a couple out by the lake. It was just a very simple. Her husband with dementia managed to put the television on the floor, so I just had to go and make sure everything was okay and put the TV back on the stand.
Wow.
One request for a medal. A couple of had to send out some packets to Colorado State Veterans Affairs. Received a few letters. I've done 6 of the powers of attorney. The 21-0966 and the 214138s, those were on PTSD claims. I've had a lot of requests for military service records and medical records that I've had to go through the National Archives. So that's fairly easy stuff. Down on the second page on the bottom, I just found out, I didn't know about it, but I'm supposed to be doing VSO feedback and comment forms, so I have none to submit for the month of March because I did not know about it until 2 days ago.
You got the forms, though.
I do have the forms, and Roger didn't even know about it, so I sent him the forms.
So as you interview people or do things, you ask them to, if they want to fill it out.
If they want to fill out a survey, so.
Cool.
And then budget items, I didn't have any office expenses.
You never know whether to believe one when it says published 1 April.
Yeah.
Where's truth?
Yeah. Other than that,
Okay. All right.
Accept the VSO report.
I'll second it.
Moved and seconded to accept the March March VSO report. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed nay. Motion carries.
John, when is this? John Barrett's coming in?
It'll be 24 April at 5:30 at the VSO office.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Thank
Appreciate
you
it.
very much.
Yep. Good to see you. Keep up the
Appreciate
good work.
Well, thank you.
Thanks.
Okay.
Public health nurse. 10 o'clock sharp. We're on
I
time.
wonder, you haven't heard back?
She's on her way.
Okay. All right, so we'll
Want to take 5?
take a little 5-minute break. With consent, gentlemen, we'll stand in recess. Oh, well, then I was waiting on you. Meeting will reconvene. Our next item of business, staff report from Public Health. Old Smiley.
Nice to see you. Howdy.
That's better. You can't come up here frowning.
I wasn't frowning.
You can't come up here with a blank look on your face.
Saving my smile.
That's fancy.
Okay, so public health,
Public Health.
health fair,
Health-
Saturday,
Oh, that's this weekend?
7 to noon.
This weekend?
Saturday?
It just
This
seemed
Saturday.
That is 6th.
So you're talking about this weekend? Like in
This
Saturday?
weekend,
Like
as
in-
in,
Like in Friday, somebody's gonna go help set up and tear down, or set up?
yes.
I don't
Mr.
remember seeing
Commissioner.
these two on
Hold on.
Friday.
Oh, Friday.
What's happening Friday?
Friday we're setting up and we're doing our volunteer pre-draw, which means hopefully we won't have 85,000 people there at 7 o'clock trying to get in to get blood drawn and mass chaos.
Obviously, I'm bitter. Yes, we are setting up on Friday. Didn't know if you two
I hadn't
knew
heard.
that.
I
That's
had no
exactly
clue.
That's exactly why I'm complaining, because I'm the only one that got singled out.
Well, good.
Oh, good.
Looks like we're covered.
I played the fifth on that.
Yeah, I'll bet you do. You and Mrs. Flower. You're all innocent, aren't you?
Yep.
What time
Can-
you doing that?
Oh, I gotta schedule it.
Yeah, we'll probably start about 9 and we'll be kind
I'm
of
actually available.
going all day sort of here and there. So if you'd like to just stop over,
And the
Public
pre-draws
health.
from 10 to noon, right?
yeah.
At the high school.
Well, yeah, we'll start over there.
Yeah, and like I think they'll be putting up tables probably actually even Thursday maybe. So after that talent show. So
Let me see if I can pull the schedule up real quick. But
So, just a general question. If you have Medicare and you want to sign up for blood draws and tests, can that be used?
we don't actually bill Medicare. We don't do any billing through,
So we just go
but they will give you a receipt, and you can send it to Medicare for reimbursement.
Got it.
That's my understanding of how that works. Same thing with your health insurance. Unless someplace like the fire department or Ace Hardware paid for it, then if you turn it in, it's Medicare or insurance fraud. Just to be clear, because that's happened.
Not at Ace, and I'm not a fire.
So you're off the
I'm
hook.
good.
So 7 to 12 on Saturday, is that the deal?
Yes, 7 to 12 on Saturday at the high school.
We were supposed to be there at 6:30.
and when you know I can't find the schedule that she sent me, I don't think I filed that away.
Let's see what do we have
Oh,
here.
maybe I did. Hold on.
Is pneumonia vaccine in? Yep.
Shingles. No.
No shingles.
Nope, and I sent a strongly worded letter to the manufacturer, to which reply I got, call someone else. Pretty much. Yeah.
Clinic at 8:30, sir.
Yeah, on
On
Friday.
Friday.
Yeah. Pre-draws from 10 to 12. If you'd like to get your blood drawn on Friday, we can make that happen. So that you don't have to stay in line on Saturday. Or fast on Saturday, for that matter.
Yeah, what is the thing on blood draws now?
So you don't have to fast, but it's a little more accurate snapshot of what's going on if you do. So
Okay.
I think you should, personally.
And then I thought they were going to do a little pizza. Yes.
Yeah, we'll have
Either one, doesn't matter.
pizza,
Pizza at noon,
etc. at noon. Yeah.
School. For the whole community or just
Of
for
course
the people
we-
that show up and work?
Just for the people that show up and work.
Oh,
Would
okay.
be
I gotta
for
work too.
Where is that? When?
Just had to show up.
Friday.
At noon? Friday? Oh, Friday.
Friday.
To help.
Yeah.
Maybe I will.
Oh yeah, now all of a sudden, see,
Maybe.
show up at
The
I
pot
don't know yet.
sweetens.
show up
Depends
at
on how hungry I am.
10, 12 and open the door for somebody carrying a box in and then go eat lunch.
Yeah.
Get it.
Whatever works.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay, so moving on. We have so Rhonda and Beth and I have started this breastfeeding network in Custer County with the help of Lorraine Redmond, I think is her name, from Chaffee County. So I'm pretty excited about this. I think that it's actually going to be really good. There will be a booth at the health fair. But we got a grant to send 2 local girls to a training so that they're certified to be lactation consultants. And it's, breastfeeding, not that I know because I never did it, but it's harder than it. It's not just natural like for babe calf. So So this is gonna be a good program. I think we're gonna help a lot more young moms in this community be a little
I'll
healthier.
vouch for that. My wife is a certified lactation consultant, educator, and it's such an important thing.
Yeah.
And I think, oh, it's just so natural, and it is not. There's
Right.
so many issues that go
Yeah.
on.
A lot of people struggle. So
It's wonderful.
we got that grant and from the Children's Health Fund, and then we also were awarded the dental grant again from the Children's Health Fund. So we'll be able to continue that service to the community. Last year we did like 35 kids, I think, got dental care for free through that program. So it's pretty sweet. Carmeline and I went to the train the trainer for vaping, so we can train people how to vape. Just kidding. So that we can train people about how dangerous
choking,
vaping
is that
is.
the
Right.
public health?
Yeah. And it's an issue in this county. It's an issue across the state and the nation. So we'll be able to start that.
So what's the issue? What are you training them?
Well, we'll be doing like seminars, like assemblies in school, and talking about how dangerous it is, and really we'll be actually doing training for the teachers, so that the teachers have the kids are like putting it in their sleeve and doing this and smoking in the middle of school, in class, and because it's like they can hold it in so that there's no, you can't see it. Yeah, there's no exhale.
Here in this school?
School's currently on a closed campus lunch schedule as well. Part of that is because of the vaping issues.
Yeah.
They think it doesn't hurt them.
They think it's benign, and there's tobacco in it, and there's not really any good studies done on what it actually does do for your lungs and for your long-term health. So that's scary. There's a thing called popcorn lung. If you remember from back from workers who made popcorn, the
Packing material.
the packing material for the microwave popcorn.
Coal miners.
It's kind of like coal miners' lung, only it's that chemical that's in the butter or whatever for popcorn got in their lungs and was bursting their alveoli and causing cancer. Those same chemicals are in vape. So
If I remember when it first came out, they said the safe alternative to smoking.
Right.
What they advertised.
they still advertise it that way, and they still advertise it as a safe way to help quit smoking, Well,
But it doesn't,
yeah,
'cause they keep
you're
jacking
not
up what they're
smoking
addicted to.
cigarettes. You're smoking a vape
Of course,
now.
you quit when
It's-
you're dead, so. I mean, you
Right.
smoke.
Yeah.
I guess
There's
eventually
that.
it leads to doing
Yeah. They're also tying it more to like developmental delays, of course. You know, not being able to learn and even dementia and Alzheimer's. So, yeah. So, working on that. Because of the new, we started looking at a program called Second Chance at the school, where if a kid gets caught vaping in school or like at a school function, while they're in school suspension, they have to do this program on the computer that's called Second Chance, and it talks about like how bad it is for you, how, you know, how it affects your body, that kind of stuff, and there's like super graphic pictures and stuff in there. So I think that's actually a good program. At first I was like, second chance, like, no second chances. Got it. But, I mean, we can't just chop their hands off, so. So I think it is a good program because at least they're not just sitting in school suspension thinking about how they're going to pull off the next stunt. They're actually learning something about it, So because of the new turnover, though, with the school administration, we're going to hold off on that till next year. The Reach Out and Read program, worked really hard to try to get the Custer County Clinic on board with that, and due to a lack of interest from the providers, it failed. So we'll only be doing that with public health.
Point of dispensing.
Point of dispensing, what do you mean?
When the health fair is over, we'll begin planning for a point of dispensing training and drill.
Yeah. So that is, some of you probably remember we did that huge drill in 2017 that was like, we brought antibiotics up and it was like a statewide drill. So we're going to do that on a smaller scale. Point of dispensing is like where people would come if there was a huge outbreak of flu. And they would come get their flu shots, or they would come, or if it was like a pertussis and they needed antibiotics, then they would come, and we have MOUs with several different places in the county where people would come and be there, a closed pod where just the people, like the county employees, would get it. So then we would be protected to go disperse it in the community. Same thing with like the clinic, the school. And then there's open pods where pod being the point of dispensing. The open pods are where the community would come in and get their antibiotics or medication. Take it. So.
Glad to hear that. Thought maybe we were going to open a little place where we could start dispensing, things like needles.
Negative Ghost Rider. I am not on board with that.
No, me neither. I will struggle if that ever comes to the commissioners.
Yeah, it won't. Not through me.
Good.
We have one case of bed bugs in this county,
Nice.
which, just so you know, is not technically a public health issue. However,
Whose issue?
well, it is just a personal issue on those people's part. However, I did spend quite a bit of time helping them get rid of their bed bugs. So.
But rabies is a personal
Rabies
health
is a public health
but not
issue.
bed bugs.
You know what?
Just
You're
asking.
right. And don't ask me because, people could bring their bed bugs to the grocery
Sure.
store. But here's the thing. Bed bugs do not live without, like, a warm body vector. So that's why they live in bed, because people go to bed and then they're there. So they don't live very long, like literally like 6 hours or something like that without a host. So. Yeah.
SR
Not gonna
RETAC
talk
is
about
different than SC RETAC. Or is that a typo?
No, it's a typo, sorry.
No problem.
It is South Central RETAC.
Okay.
The jail thing's going pretty good, I think.
Good.
I have MOUs to take over there, actually, or not MOUs, but protocols to take over there today. So we're cruising right along with that. I've been spending about an hour a day over there.
Wow.
So it's definitely a need.
So when you're over there, where are you?
I am in that little room, like where the detention staff
Okay.
is.
You're not in the pods. You don't go to the jail pod.
No. I do go into a room with the offenders, like to do an assessment, obviously. And I actually did get kind of stuck in there with one of them because there wasn't anybody to let me out. So I had a little conversation about that because I about had a conniption.
Freaking out a little.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like, well, it's a good thing this guy's not beating the crap out of me because, anyways.
Yeah, because we're not going to be liable for that.
That's
all right?
all.
You're on your own.
Yeah, thank you.
Come in here with a big old black eye and some stitches across your forehead. Don't wind up.
Well, I won't be doing the stitches myself.
Okay. Yeah, oh, that's sorry. Didn't mean to.
One last
Bandage on
thing.
your arm.
I am working on MOUs that are actual legitimate MOUs, not just like, hey, we're gonna come over if we feel like it. For the between the county and like the Saddle Club for the large animal rescue thing. I'm gonna talk to a few other places where we could go if the Saddle Club is being used by the feds, which it typically will be in a situation like this. So I'm working on that. So be looking for that. I'll probably be sending that to you mostly, Clint, to look over. The MOU that I'm writing up is almost exactly the same as the MOU between the county and the school, just of course with the language and logistics switched up. So
So, what does public health do with the Saddle Club? I'm confused.
Fire, not evacuation, because we don't evacuate. the animals.
right. It's not really a rescue either, but it's just an ag disaster plan essentially.
I'm fine.
Yeah.
I was wondering, you're not a vet doll, so that's...
No, that would also be out of my scope of practice.
Okay.
Wouldn't the fire department work with that too?
Not
Or
really.
is that a public health? I
No.
understand the difference.
Yeah.
And really it's probably an extension of public health. It's not really public health, but because I am involved in
It's ES11.
the Saddle Club and 6, which is mass
6,
care.
Yeah.
So, and what happens is people don't want to leave and evacuate their homes if they can't take Fluffy with them. And so that's how it becomes a public health issue, really. So,
And old paint
yeah,
and Quacky.
yeah. And their
The
llamas,
chickens.
Yeah. Quacky being the husband.
right?
Not the
So I also just bought 2 boxes of those like grease pens that Big R. That Big R, I didn't get it. I know, sorry. But that way we're gonna give those out at the health fair. So people can like write their phone number out the side of their horses if they need to and turn them loose in a fire.
Cool.
So
Great idea.
Did you go to the Saddle Club meeting last night?
I did. It was a long-winded meeting.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. But
Okay.
some stuff.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Rocking and firing.
Yep.
We will.
Be looking for those MOUs because I'll be sending those over.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Be happy.
I am happy.
All right. All
All
right.
right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Unfinished business, gentlemen? Hopefully not, but
Here.
nor do I. We'll move on to new business. We'll allow public comment if it's an action item prior to any vote taken by the commissioners. First up, attainable housing. Attainable, parentheses, workforce housing in the world I live in.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Vertical.
Well, good. That's about all you're going to say to that?
You know, I mean, when you get to be my age, that's good.
It's a blessing, isn't it? Yeah, it's a good thing.
Did Meredith
Look,
give you
I
all a
think
copy?
we did, yes. Pull it up here real quick. El Pomar.
What we've given y'all is basically a little background on what we understand and have been informed from El Pomar as far as this grant goes, and then the second half as a draft on what our response is. We covered this last week with the board meeting. Part of the thought process that we've gone through so far is to try to address and alleviate some of the upfront issues that developers would have for housing here, in that we realize that there's issues with the utilities as well as stuff like that, and try to get at least now our support, the board's support, in some of that up front and not get into the actual construction or management of properties. And that was how we addressed it with the Elpamar monies.
Um, 1G in your draft.
Yep.
Grant funds would
One
support
C. Yeah.
G. Or sorry, A.
Hey. Yep.
I looked at the G on the word grant. That's how goofed up I am this morning. Grant funds would support a rotating fund that could be perpetuated by the return of the purchase price and the necessary carrying cost to whom? Who would that be returned to? Attainable housing?
Yeah.
Do you anticipate at some point either in affordable housing taking this on or somebody else being this clearinghouse for the purchase and sale of these houses? Is that going to go through attainable housing as it appears to be now? I know nothing's chiseled in stone, but
That raised a number of questions, and what we were trying to address at this time was to get the money, realizing that this is an area that obviously the board nor the county has gotten involved in, and I haven't had a chance to talk to legal, but we had some feedback from the COG from Autumn the other day that related and brought some awareness of some of the organization that we would need, and the idea was with Elpamar is that we were going. It wasn't a one-shot deal as far as the funding goes, but yeah, we got a lot of details to work out as far as collectively how we handle this thing, because there is apparently, I hate to use the word liability, but that's effectively what it is when it comes to that we need to be sure we've set up the organization to satisfy that. And thank goodness we brought Autumn in with us. That she's been down these tracks before.
would COG handle the buying and selling of houses or no?
I don't think so. But we're aware too that we've got a potential of if we don't handle it correctly of conflicts of interest, and in fact Tony DeLange resigned from the board just because he was concerned that he's got definite interest, and so we accepted his. But it's we haven't got there yet. Is basically.
I'm looking at 1A, it's 1, not 1A. Is this the lots that Colorado University has for sale you're talking about purchasing?
That's the only candidate that we've got for that situation at this time.
Is it moving forward?
Until we get approval of a process and the money, it's kind of a moot point. But no, the intent is, I don't know whether y'all saw it or not, but Tom forwarded me some time ago a message from Colorado College, and the idea being that once we get approval and are aware that we're going to have the grant, then we'll initiate conversations with them. And
So where is that lot?
Well, there's 10 of
there's-
them up
in
Silver
Silver
right?
Cliff, yeah.
Where roughly?
There's actually Steve's done some research. There's actually 3 clusters in there, Steve.
basically southeast of the apartments.
The new apartments that they got.
But
Off the top of your head when the next meeting is, I don't have it scheduled.
Yeah, there's the park,
Yeah.
and there's most of a block
Okay,
here,
just south of
and then
or
some
west.
scattered ones a little bit west of there.
So it's next to, it's in line with those other new apartments that they built by the bus barns, or
no.
Well, the bus barn's further.
well, that's right, it's down further.
Yeah.
Can you show where the 2-story apartments are? They would.
Behind Willie's.
They were up in here.
They're up
somewhere,
there.
Yeah.
But
This is Mill.
Oh, there's
So
Mill.
there's-
Okay.
Yeah.
It should be the 4th.
So they're
And
just
I don't know whether we put it on the calendar or not.
just east of Mill
Should be the 25th, but
Mill
along First Street.
Yeah.
I think
These
there was
look
a
like those
conflict.
other apartments I was talking about. Maybe not. But anyway, okay, so it's there. It looks like there's room for 10 houses. Is that
There's
right?
actually 19
have a
lots, but
date?
they're 25 by 100 lots. And in order to build, you need 50 by 100. So it's about nine buildings.
I'm not gonna, I'm just gonna discard it.
And we can get it below market price. That's we think, or is it?
Well, with what was indicated,
My conversation with him was yes.
but we don't, I mean, right now, there's not any others candidates for such a deal. But we did focus it on that. And one of the things, like Steve said, depending on what they said, they had a relative price per lot. If they're talking these 25-foot lots, we don't have enough money to buy them all. But
Yeah, I was going to ask how much money was there.
well,
Well, that might-
but the idea being, we could probably, it's a matter of negotiations. But whether if we bought some, we'd be willing to donate some others, or get an intent where when we turned the first lot of lots, then we could buy a second one and ultimately get them out of the.
So how do you pay for the connections for the utilities? Is that included?
It's a
in the
separate deal.
issue?
And the good thing is these lots are pretty well set up utility-wise.
So there's sewer and water.
Yeah.
Near it, but whatever the cost is, it is.
But, separating things, and that's why we said part of the idea of these ladder items was if we've got some relatively small amounts of money, we might be able to set up some grants that would help building permits or tap fees and such like that. And trying to be as encompassing with our relationship to Elpamar so that we don't have to go back and say, oh, can we do this type thing. I mean, Elpamar, my experience with Elpamar is that, as long as you're doing what you say they're going to do, they're happy, and without over managing the things. So the first item is, and they do have a meeting tomorrow, and apparently the other counties have already provided their plans.
So are you looking for adoption or approval of your
Yes.
approach here today? I would move that we approve the submitted document for attainable housing to move forward with their efforts to receive this $40,000 grant from Elpamar.
I'll second it. Discuss it here.
Been moved and seconded to approve the plan, the draft plan of activities directed towards a $40,000 grant for Elpamar Foundation. Discussion.
So we have to approve it because the county name needs to be on this application.
Yeah, I think Elpamar is going to want to know that attainable housing is not out operating in their own umbrella, that there's
Or do
under
we-
the county.
Do we have any matching fund requirement?
No
No.
matching. This is from the way it's been explained to us, is that it's with the original 4 counties, it's kind of a trial for Elpamar as to see how innovative and how well we can do it. And if it's satisfactory, then it may extend statewide, as far as helping, because attainable, affordable housing is certainly a disease for the whole state. Yeah.
Last I heard, the housing study from Upper Arkansas Area Council Governments was going to be out at the end of March, I believe.
That was the last word we had up until last week in autumn. We asked her, and of course I think it was like the last day of the month, and she said the promise was we were going to have it at the end of March. We don't, and so they are a little unknown too, as far as,
That's fine.
basically none of us have heard from the consultants for the last month or so.
My only point is, I would like to find out what is our need for attainable, affordable housing before we go spend a ton of money buying a bunch of houses that we don't have people to move into. That's when I have at least a slight concern about.
The indication is that it still may be 60 to 90 days before we would see any money from Alpamar.
And we paid this consultant. Oh, from Alpamar.
Yeah,
I'm
from
sorry. I'm
Alpamar.
sorry. I didn't listen to the last couple words. I apologize. I'm
You
fine.
started seeing
I'm
red.
fine. Yeah.
And we don't know.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, about. I think Tom sent me a note a week or two ago. I sent it to August or to Autumn, and that's when we got it's due the end of the month. And then at the meeting last week, she said yes, it was due at the end of the month, and she had no further status. So.
Yeah, I think I agree with where I think Jay was headed, and that is we probably ought to look at that contract and see what it did say, what their deliverables are, and if they're falling short of that, we're trying to move forward with our stuff based on all this wonderful information we were planning on getting from this housing study.
I think our first recourse would be to say to the COG what's happening, since they are being paid in advantage this task.
Which we did. We've said that to them, right? Didn't get a great answer from them, but nonetheless.
But in fact, the issue came up last week. Tony DeLange, when we had such a deal, and he had some potential investors, and that he was wanting to see the results of the study. And I told him, I said, Tony, have you seen the old study we had that's several years old? And he said, no. And I said, and I kind of went back and looked at it again, and I sent him a copy of it and said, I don't think the conclusions that were drawn several years ago with that study are really going to be any significantly different from what we did. And rereading it, it did make some pretty definitive statements that anecdotally we know now. I mean, the fact that we need certain housing and certain like that. And so that satisfied his want.
Okay, further discussion? Public comment? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of approving the draft plan of the response to Alpamar for a $40,000 grant, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries.
And I'd like, if it requires authorization, tell our legal, I'd like to have some discussions with you just to.
If we
So,
need to
for the
draft
next
up
step.
something with a signature on it, that's fine. Just forward it to me and we can do that.
Well, since I have a meeting tomorrow, if you don't mind, if you approve, I will take and indicate that it was approved today by
Right.
you, and we'll forward so that they've got a copy for
Be
tomorrow.
reflected in the minutes. Okay. All right, sir.
Thank you.
Do that. Stay strong.
Thank you,
All
Charles.
weekends. Someday we're going to be pounding nails,
Yep. It just takes time.
making sawdust. Thank you. Next item of business. Consideration of County Road 386. Good morning.
Morning.
See, Roger
How are
deserted you, or you guys strike a bargain?
We struck a bargain.
So, discussion about obviously opening the top portion of County Road 386.
Yep, so that top portion and the bottom proportion are county road, and the middle proportion is Forest Service. The top portion is pretty safe, unaffected by the fire. Bottom proportion through Bill's is not bad, but it still isn't great. There was a bunch of big boulders on it, so it's not worth trying to open it yet. Let stuff settle down some more.
Mainly because the ground up above it's still unstable.
Yeah, that it's not in the worst of those sections. You know how we drove through there, and you can drive to the forest boundary on the lower end, but you gotta weave and kind of go over some piles and stuff. So that road is on a Schedule A agreement between the Forest Service and Custer County, which is an agreement we do every 5 years that sets up the mileage the county will maintain on forest roads, and then you're paid for those miles. So that agreement's good for at least 2 more years. I haven't looked at it. I'm not gonna change that until we sit down and we'll decide what we're gonna do with that road probably then. So the only piece the county will leave that little upper section on the county maintenance. I went and looked at it the other day. It's in good shape. They don't have to do anything till they're kind of swinging their way that way to do the other Ophir, Mingus, that part of the world. They can run through there. The closure will be right there, kind of where we parked, where that beaver sign was, and we walked down there. It's about 200-300 yards off the highway.
Where you parked on the lower end, you mean?
On the upper end,
the upper
yeah,
end.
you know, kind of right where we all
Yeah, where that-
met.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good wide spot, provides at least some. Our future plans would be to make that a little better for a turnaround. I'll post dead end sign up on the highway and a bunch of warning signs right there. I got a contractor meet me on Tuesday if we can pass the resolution. Well, for now, we're just going to place some big boulders right there where we create the parking lot and some signage. My goal was to open it by turkey season. April 13th is when the public has kind of really been pushing to try to get into that country. So
I'll go ahead and I'll move that we approve resolution number 19-04, a resolution by the Board of County Commissioners for Custer County, reopening a portion of Custer County Road 386, previously closed in its entirety by resolution number 17-09.
Have you had the honor of seconding anything today, Tom?
Probably not.
Give it
Okay,
to you.
I'll second the motion. Excuse me. Been moved and seconded to adopt resolution 17-09 pertaining to the reopening of the upper portion of County Road 386. Discussion.
Was that
Did
okay?
you say
the way-
17
yeah,
or
first
9?
line, yeah.
17-04.
Wait.
I thought it should be 19.
This is
I'm sorry.
1904.
Oh, good, okay.
I was looking at the old resolution number that established closing it. Resolution 19-04.
I was writing 1904 and you were saying 17
Yeah.
and it was messing with my brain.
Yeah, sorry. 19-04. Thank you for writing this too, very succinct, to the point. Perfect.
Yes, but didn't require a whole lot of thought, couldn't get very many whereases in.
Yeah.
Dang, you get paid by that.
Whatever has is the more you can charge, that's what I've learned.
Yeah.
Discussion. I just had, I wondered when I started reading this resolution, had what we had talked about, what we didn't talk about. And so all motorized traffic, off-highway vehicles, pedestrian, and horseback.
So on your piece, this is correct.
Okay.
Beyond that barricade on
Right.
the forest,
Changes
it'll be
then, yeah.
foot and horse
Yeah.
only.
Yeah. Further discussion, gentlemen? Public comment? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of approving the resolution 19-04, opening the upper portion of County Road 386, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, nay. Turkey hunters, rejoice. Which I'm
Public in
not.
general.
Thanks for hanging around.
Oh,
No, that's all right. Thank you.
we'll sign this and
Yeah, and
file it.
I'll start on it. I think Tuesday's the plan. I got somebody lined up.
Okay. Sweet. Did you get to visit with our Clampus Vita boys?
No, but
Okay, I thought they'd
did-
catch you that
yeah,
day,
I
but,
did too. Because that our Carhartt Day is gaining
Yeah.
ground in a hurry.
Good. Well, if you
Bigger
need
than I
some,
planned on. So
if you want
Did
to
you get a chance to talk to Bob Fulton? Because they're
No, I
actually, I think they're trying to do the birthday on the actual day.
Yeah.
Which is 2 days earlier, I think. than yours.
Okay.
I think. I don't
haven't
even
even looked.
see what there's anything in common.
but I will. Yeah, because who? There used to be a Forest Service rep on that Frontier Path.
I didn't see one in the meeting. That's why I'm bringing it up.
Yeah, because there used to be somebody on that.
Seems like it ought to be, you ought to do it together somehow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, if you want to come back, you're welcome. You know, kind of try to promote that whole deal.
Yeah,
And
and I still got to give.
Yeah, one point to make, they're gonna make a mock-up of the campground and with the actual campfire ring and all that jazz
That's a
to
good
show what
idea.
it looks like, and they're gonna take tours, they're gonna have a tour bus.
Cool. That is.
all right, sir. Thank you. Thanks again for your
There you go, Kelly.
time and patience. next item of business consideration, good morning, ma'am, of the response letter to the Upper Arkansas Water Conservancy District. Thank you, Commissioner Prince, for pinning that out. Appreciate it.
There was a typo, by the way.
Okay, I'm trying to find that document as we speak.
It's really incomplete, it's not a typo.
Oh, yeah, darn it. I must have saved it in the wrong file. So I'll pull it up again.
I found it when I went to my email.
Okay. Well, I can't begin to tell you, or I can't. I thought I had it in the board packet. I don't, so
You
I'll pull
emailed
it
it
up.
to us
Yeah,
last
I
night.
just
or
never
this
got it
morning or
rolled
something.
into my board packet, which is kind of weird, but do that real quick. Commissioner Prince, I would defer you, sir, since you drafted the document.
First, I believe in the salutation, dear Mr. Skanga, there should be a colon.
Colon or comma.
Comma either way.
Yep.
And the colon, a formal letter probably makes more sense.
Okay. We've had an opportunity to preview this document. Obviously, I think the guts of the matter fall down to the last paragraph. For the public's benefit, the commissioners agreed to write a response to a letter that Mr. Skanga sent to Commissioner Kanda and copied myself and Commissioner Prince. And so we discussed that at our last meeting, and this is our response. So the last paragraph basically indicates unwillingness of the commissioners to officially appoint members to a committee to meet with their Blue Line expansion committee. Is that how you guys perceive it?
What it says.
Yeah, but it's more than that, if I may.
Okay, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
What they're suggesting makes tremendously good sense, except for one fact. What they're saying is we should get together with them and their Blue Line Committee. We should appoint a group to discuss how to implement, and actually their words are engage in discussions about the proposed augmentation plan and issues related to potential water impacts from augmentation structures, water storage, etc. And that's a quote from the letter that was sent to Commissioner Kanda. And we, I think, very vocally and adamantly said that we do not want to be part of their plan. So the idea of putting a citizen group together to discuss with them makes perfectly good sense had it been done prior to implementation of the plan. So my feeling is, and I will defer to my colleagues, is that it's too little too late. If you remove us from the plan, then I think it's absolutely appropriate. Let's sit down and let's talk about how, if a plan is needed, how it would be implemented, what it would cover, and those type of things. But my personal opinion is that when they failed to second a motion to remove us, their intentions were extremely clear that they choose to do this without Custer County being involved. And this carrot that they're throwing to us after the plan is already in place is just unacceptable in my mind. And that's kind of, I wrote it as nicely as I could, but basically said to them, if you remove us from us being Custer County, from the log plan that they submitted to Division 2 Water Court, that we certainly would love to sit down and talk to you, but barring that, there really isn't much discussion. They've already made their decision, and we didn't have any say, and we still don't have any say. So that's kind of the way I wrote it. This is my proposal then.
Okay. And functioning within the confines of parliamentary law, Chair would entertain a motion.
I'll move that we, the three commissioners approve the letter, sign it, and send it to Mr. Skanga as the general manager of the Upper Arkansas Water Conservancy District.
I'll second the motion. Been moved and seconded that we sign and send this letter to the manager of Upper Arkansas Water Conservancy District. Further discussion. I wonder if we shouldn't enclose copies to all the board members as well. We've done that once before when we sent our indication to them that we were going to oppose this in court. So I think it would be appropriate to include all the board members as well.
I have no issue with that.
I'm assuming then we would, if that's what we decide today, then we would put a CC at the bottom. But actually, I would move to amend the motion to include adding CC in this to all the board of directors.
Should have any of that correspondence.
Yes.
Given.
And I have no issue, so I'll accept the proposed amendment. Second the motion.
Been moved and seconded to amend the motion by adding and CCing all the board members at the bottom of the letter. Discussion. Public comment. Hearing none, proceed to vote on the amendment. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed nay. Motion carries. Further discussion on the main motion, which states sign the letter, send it to the general manager and CC the board.
You have any more, Jay?
Oh, no, I'm done.
You got anything? Any more?
No, he said he's finished. Go ahead.
And you were okay?
Yeah, I've got some comments, but I'll wait.
You want to wait till I have
Sure.
my comments?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I do have some comments, and I have some issues with the letter as it's written. And I'll say this first. It's not about, I think we got to have cool heads here, and we don't want to do anything that would harm our citizens that own the water, and most of us have a vested interest in the rights. And I don't want to do anything that would be perceived to be illegal, immoral, and unethical, of course, right? Anything we do. So in that light, there are two things I think we can agree, one that we can agree on for sure. We don't know whether it's good or bad because we don't have enough engineering and data and interaction by our citizens on this issue, period. It needs to be reworked, changed, agreed to, and a lot of things, but in my view, before it gets run through the water courts, actually. Because what we don't want to have happen, I think we all agree, is we don't want to have our ranchers and our other water users spend a lot of money fighting each issue that they filed individually. And the clock starts ticking on that in a few days, actually, I guess, because everybody's got to get garnered up to deal with it. So I've done a lot of research on it, and I'll talk about that in a second. The other one is we have to be careful when we throw around challenges here that we got to make sure we have the evidence occurred. I don't have any evidence that I've seen yet that they did something in secret. Actually, I have not. Do we have, other than the only thing I've seen, I asked Bob for the minutes. Didn't we ask him for? Didn't we make a formal request for the minutes, Tom? Did you do that?
Commissioner or Councilor did.
He did,
yes.
right? Mm-hmm. So we have to be sure that publicly, it's a sunshine law. They have to abide by the rules that we do. And if there's something going on behind the scenes that they're trying to hide to sneak things in on a board, on a representative board, it's like there are representatives of this county that we've entrusted to be on that board, and so is all the counties. And to me, it's their obligation to make sure that issues that are being discussed are put in front of the people that are going to be affected. So, they've had a lot of time apparently to be discussing this, and so I don't want to accuse somebody of something to me that I would say we should go to the state level. If they have been that shady, they ought to be drawn and quartered and put in front of legal action of the state, in my view. If there's people that are trying to do things that are making money that are not the way it should be. I mean, people have tossed around a lot of accusations, and even we in this, we're saying, and I'll read a piece of it, so bear with me a second. And we need to discuss it and make sure our interpretation is up on board here. It says, we felt that the open is not only a proper way, but an honorable way. And I like the effort that you put in on this to get started.
You're in the second paragraph?
Yeah, on the second paragraph. Of course, this includes the water issues. Unfortunately, UAW, the upper arc, apparently feels different. Apparently is a good word. A water augmentation plan was submitted to the Division II Water Court without input from Custer County and without any dialogue with Custer County. We have representatives from Custer County that are representing us, so that may be an issue that somebody could hammer us on if it's not true. If we're putting you're presumed innocent until proven guilty. So that was sort of just from my point. Let's be careful how we word things. It was submitted in secrecy behind Custer County's back. Well, I haven't gotten all the minutes, and I went to Cinderhoff, I went to Skanga. I don't know where Jackie. Where did this handout that we just got?
I created it.
It was yours. So there's been some research, and it didn't seem to be secret that they were going to file. So we have to be careful there, because I think on the, I don't know, I don't even have it. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. There were lots of people that have been involved in and also, I'm not talking about Custer County reps, I'm talking about the reps on the board. To me, a representative from Chaffee County ought to have the interests of the water district in mind, so that they ought to make sure that anything that might affect, if it's a Chaffee County action, if it has an adverse action on Custer County, it seems to me they'd be obligated to make sure Custer County was aware of that. And that ought to be a discussion somewhere that they should have had in open meetings over there, or in actions in the board meetings that we know were open. So I would want to see, before I put my name on this letter, that in fact that's happened. Because to me, if they've done things behind our back and in secret against the law of what they're set up to be, I have a problem with it. I think they ought to be hammered. If that's going on, we got to do something. And so I do not, if we're going to throw an accusation out there, let's get the data and then let's structure it very tightly in the letter that we send back to them. And also include what we really want. What do we want out of this? Do we want to withdraw from actual participation in the district itself? Or do we want to withdraw the filing and work with them to change the filing so it's acceptable after hearings on that kind of thing? So what I have come to find out by talking with our water users here, many of them, to include, I'll give you some names, Randy Rusk, Robert Miller, Donnie Camper, Keith Hood, Vic Barnes. Vic not only is from a zoning point of view, but he has water. And myself. And there should be others that we need to understand and involve. Because we can't say, if we step back now and they don't pull the filing, then when are we going to talk to them? Are we going to let the court actions proceed and cost our people money to fight it before if we can get them to come to an agreement where we'll delay the action, and maybe even pull it with some dialogue from the people that are affected that haven't had their chance in court to deal with them. I did find out that it can amount to, in some cases, $16,000 a year for each guy that filed to hire a lawyer to go in and deal with it. Then I find out from the process that they will work with those guys one-on-one. They'll go try to resolve it for that particular dispute, which means, what does resolve mean? It means moving the blue line for that guy. But what about the neighbors that haven't had a chance to be in that action? Well, that they could have had in an open public meeting if we'd have gotten it to them, well, if they'd have come to us when they should have put it on public notice. So it seems like maybe a letter would be, we're firmly agree, the three of us, the county, from our point of view, that this filing is wrong for we don't know how wrong it is, but it was wrong for not to involve the people that have an impact most, to interact and try to have it resolved before they start spending a lot of money, is one issue. What can we write then as far as the secrecy and the behind the back stuff? If it was set up by whatever it was to establish the representatives of the county, and then the process to get the counties to involve their people in it. Yeah, Jay?
Is it okay for us?
Sure, and then let's talk. I want a discussion.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but the secrecy part is the part that, respectfully, and I respect your opinion, I feel very differently about. We had a voting member on the board.
We had two, didn't we?
No.
Isn't
Cinda Huff only votes if there's
right?
Okay, see. Okay, we had a voting member on the board. Cinda Huff, I'm going to say, wasn't unless there's a tie.
Unless there's a tie. Okay.
Okay. And we had an ex officio member on the board. Both of the Custer County representatives have said on multiple occasions they had no idea this was being done. Additionally, not one rancher, farmer, ag person, water right user has stated that they had any input whatsoever.
They didn't. That's what I've confirmed.
Sir?
I've confirmed that.
Okay. Well, I'm just speaking now. We've heard comment from professionals that said that they don't know about our water and they're doing studies now. That's why I put in ill-conceived and untimely filing. I don't know how you could say in any way whatsoever that this was not done in secrecy behind our back.
It's a big deal.
And I stand by those words because our representatives that sat at that table came back and said, I had no idea that this was being done, and I believe my representatives. So my feeling is they must withdraw Custer County from their current plan. Then let's sit down. Let's see if the plan is necessary, if our ranchers want it, if our water rights users want it, if the three of us want it. Although it really doesn't matter to us because we're not water right holders.
I am.
But I apologize, I meant as commissioners.
As a county,
As a county.
we represent people that do.
I get it. And that's why we're sitting here saying, hey, that's not my fight, guys, you go fight your own. We're sitting here fighting this right now. We authorize an attorney to advise us on what rights we do have because of our constituency. So,
all right,
while I fully understand what you're saying, I take exception to the secrecy and the behind the back thing. I don't know nicer ways to say that.
If that's true, that's significant, Jay, because they cannot do that. That's illegal, and with that, I think that requires legal action to get them to resolve that. That's unethical. That is wrong. And so that upsets me because it didn't afford us the chance to get the people that should have been involved. And you would have, Tom would have, and I would
I
have.
concur with that comment completely.
So I'm just, all right, let me finish.
But let me just make the comment that you let me interrupt, and then I'll shut up, okay?
It's okay, we want to talk. See, the
we're
problem
having
is,
dialogue.
we never get, I've not talked to you guys about this at all, except for when we've gotten together, and that's what it should be. I mean, that's what we're
It
doing now.
appears to me, I have no validation on this, that to have the vote the way it took place, and I was there,
I was there.
okay? It could not have occurred without, it appears, violations of the Sunshine Law, the Opens Record Act, that discussions were held outside the public, because if they were held with the public, our representatives would have known what was going on. And that's the only reason I say that. I'm not the judge or jury. I'm just saying it's inconceivable to me that this decision could be made without discussion where every single person on that board said, we're not going to second a motion. Okay, that had to have happened, in my opinion.
Maybe so.
So
Right.
I have real issues.
I agree. Now, let's take it, so what this looks like to me, there's two separate issues here to me. One is that issue itself. That's separate to what the filing issue is now and where it stands right now. So let me address both differently. That's why I think if it's really true, because if I go down through what I've seen on the minutes that I have seen, I haven't seen all the minutes yet either. All I have is a summary here that I think, Jackie, did you put this together?
I did.
And she did some research and she talked as well. And clear back to 15, there's been discussion of the blue line expansion. And so if it could be the board members of the board of that day from Chaffee County or anybody could be saying, okay, it's a blue line expansion of our district. It can have impacts on all the counties. It doesn't necessarily just impact Custer County because it depends on how they're going to augment water, blah, blah, blah. We don't know because it's never been engineered out and finished yet. And what I found out on that issue is part of that process, and actually Randy discovered it, that's what got me fired up on it, that they're waiting to finalize the engineering as it's starting now. Well, why in the world is that the case? If they started clear back in 15, why hasn't some of that happened earlier, right?
That's in my letter.
So as time goes on, there were, and Jackie focused on just the representatives that were here, but I'm sure there are other representatives from Chaffee County and everybody that has an obligation as an entity to protect the district and the people in it and make sure that injury doesn't occur that by law they're supposed to do for any action that occurs in that district. So that's why I feel that the separate issue, and we can deal with this, is whether we have an obligation if we find out there's illegal and unethical behavior to go and do that somewhere down the road. That to me is, and that's why I want to take the emotion and the accusations out of this letter that without proof, definitive, we don't know, other than by some. You see what I'm saying, Jay? Now let me go back to what I said first. It's not about winning and losing, and you're right and I'm wrong, but it's about, and I'm talking even Upper Ark and the citizens of this county. It's what amounts to doing what's right for the citizens of this county, and allowing them, first of all, to have access to the water if we're gonna find out that it doesn't hurt and at a reasonable cost, as opposed to if we withdraw. I worry, and I've heard this before, they've actually tried to do this 3 times, and they've done the engineering and spending the money. And so from talking, and I did talk to Tim Canterbury as well, to find out why they voted the way they did. What are you guys going to do now? What have you been talking about? And he says he still meant what he said in the day. He said, well, we wouldn't do something that would hurt you, and we want to work with you. His issue right now, I know he did, but his issue was, now is because of the feeling that there is about how Custer County feels, why mess around with them at all? If we withdraw them, then we're withdrawing Custer County, and we may never come back. Well, that sounds really good on the surface, But it lays open if we don't have an organization that we have been a member of that long and has built up the resources to actually fight actions that could affect us or make water available for future things that could happen, that we have to control growth as a committee or as a commission. But if somebody wants to augment a well and he has to be faced with either paying $40,000 to get it or $4,000, we're penalizing our citizens if we do something without thinking ahead. That's the whole point here. And so I asked them, and I asked Skanga the same thing. We meant it when we said we're going to get in there and we're not going to let this happen. If this was done behind our backs, and you really have an open sunshine obligation here, then we ought to have a purview with our people to see anything that's happened and anything that's going to happen in the future and make sure that we're aware of it before it gets to this kind of a point. The second thing was, why can't we, and I asked Bob Sinderoff this, why can't you're in charge of this, you can stop the filing, you can delay the filing before we start spending money from a citizen's point of view. They can do that. The only way we're going to, unless we're going to do is send them a letter and until they withdraw it. You see, we're not giving them the option to delay it and have a conversation is another point that we could do. Because if they claim it's going to take 4 years to do this anyway. If we're going to react within, it's been a week of the letter they sent us, we want to think through exactly, in my view, what we would be willing to discuss, and if we can, and if they truly are meaning what they say, to react with that Blue Line Committee and delay the action. This is what Canterbury told me yesterday. Then why wouldn't we want to have that talk before? And I'll tell you this: we can vote on this, and it'll go whatever which way it'll go. But if it goes out like it is, then I don't want to sign the letter. I will not sign the letter, which is okay. But I am going to take people and myself over there, and we're going to start the dialogue now before we start spending money on fighting the actions in court and find out what they will do if they really mean what they're going to do. Without taking, and I respect what you guys are saying. If the county, if we want to, as a board, say, here's how we do it.
If you take a group over there, it will be...
As a citizen.
Exactly. It will not be
It's exactly
assuming this passes, and I'm not if that happened, because
I'm not representing this board.
Hang on a second. There is no doubt that Ms. Bubis did a good job, and whoever looked at the minutes. Hang on a second, and said that there was discussions during those dates. I'm going to concede that, although I haven't verified it. I'll concede it's correct. However, the key is discussions have been going on for years, and that's what that shows. A filing is not part of that. Nowhere does it say we're filing it.
It did.
On such and such a
It
date.
did. On the 13th of December, I think is what it is. I'll read it to you. It says, Blue Line expansion was discussed on December the 13th, and who was there was Cinderhoff, Tom Flower, and Bill Donnelly. That's what she put down here. And to incorporate into the final application to be filed at the end of the month. Both Fremont and Round Mountain support expansion. Mr. Cinderhoff reported that Donnelly active in this discussion, and Bob has not heard anything negative from Custer County Board of Commissioners. Tom Flower, Bob Cinderhoff discussed educating the citizens of Custer County. Of Custer County, said he would be concerned if the Custer County residents, if they didn't have the information they needed to support the expansion, which obviously nobody brought to the citizens. Cinderhoff reported that he had more than 20 meetings with the people of Custer County. Motion to file application unanimously passed. That meant Donnelly had to have voted for it. I don't know. It says unanimously.
Well,
now,
I can tell you.
If he didn't, then that's the point. We have to act on actual facts. And if this is not accurate, we need to get the facts. And all I'm asking for is why do I would like to delay it until we can write the right response, in my view. Because you're right, Jay. It took 8 years or 6 years, or whatever it is, to get to this point. 8 years 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 to get a week more or 2 weeks and get the right, if we can get the data, then we need to know it. To me, before I throw out an accusation. But that's, go ahead.
Well, whenever you're done, I'll wait. I'll certainly wait my time. No
Okay,
problem.
all right, so I've covered the filing and then the unethical piece, and that's, I sure don't want to sit, and I'll end this. If I had a dispute within my family or within an organization that I have, I would not want to sit and say, well, until you agree to what I'm telling you to do, I'm not going to talk to you about it. And we need to begin talks, I think, so, at some point. All right, go ahead, I'm done talking.
With respect to both of you gentlemen, neither one of you know because you were not there.
That's right. Correct.
So you are at risk of taking what the ex officio member, being myself, either can tell you.
Right, we need it.
Or show you. December 13th was the meeting that they voted to submit the water hog plan to Division Court. Never disputed that. I was sitting right there and witnessed it.
Yeah, you were.
So Donnelly was not. You need to pay attention, Bill.
Oh, he was absent. I'm sorry, you're right.
He did not vote.
Oh, you're right, I'm sorry.
It passed unanimously of the members that were there.
Right on.
So that's, to me, where we have to start. I don't believe I've ever said publicly, as a commissioner, that nobody was misled on December the 13th. Everybody in that room was there and heard Sanford make the motion.
I agree.
And Tim Payne seconded the motion. I've reported that. I called Vic Barnes as Planning Commission Chairman that afternoon when I walked out of the meeting. So,
I wasn't calling that in question, Tom.
Okay, well,
that wasn't the point.
I said with respect, I'm not challenging anybody, I'm just telling you what happened because neither one of you were there.
Right.
Correct?
Correct.
So, that's the first point I want to make. Second point is this, that I do have an issue, and I appreciate you bringing it up, with literally the wording, okay? Maybe not the intent, but literally, and I highlighted in the second paragraph. I'll read it so we have it in context. A water augmentation plan involving Custer County was submitted to the Division II Water Court without input from Custer County and without any dialogue with Custer County. I believe that sentence is absolutely factual. There is no question in my mind. I do struggle with the following wording. This, meaning the plan, correct, was submitted in secrecy behind Custer County's back. I can't say that that's factual. The plan was submitted in public. I mean, the vote was taken to submit that plan in public. Do you see this distinction I'm trying to make, Jay, with your wording? They didn't submit it in secrecy. They voted in public to submit that. All the work was done, I agree. 90% or whatever of the work was done certainly behind closed doors, not in a public meeting. That's the only thing in this letter that I have issue with, and I think I know Bill called my attention to it because I didn't see it before that. So if we could address the wording there a little bit, then...
This is a proposed letter.
That's right.
I know, that's why I wanted to talk about it.
I'll certainly have, look, I'm not married to anything
Right.
here.
So
I took a shot at it.
Right. So I would say that it would, if I was rewording this, I would say it appears that the majority of this work was done behind closed doors. They didn't submit it in secrecy. Do you see my point there?
Yes.
Okay. I wouldn't have a problem with just deleting that sentence. This was submitted in secrecy behind
Okay,
Custer
then go down to
County's
the
back.
next paragraph.
Hang on, let's talk about this one
No,
first.
I was going to stay on
Okay,
that.
when asked her, so just take that one sentence.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, let's delete it.
Before you
for
do
now.
that,
Okay.
listen, because I have the same point on that same issue. Go down to the next paragraph. It says, you go down through third sentence, it says, there can be no trust and there can be no relationship when our partner in water acts behind our back and veils secrecy. That is not, we don't know.
Oh, I believe that is true. I have no question about that.
Where's your evidence? Where is the evidence?
The evidence is that nobody knew that this was getting submitted to the Division II Water Court until that vote took place. Nobody in Custer County.
But to me,
That's
Jay,
secrecy.
well, the secrecy is to me, the issue is why didn't they bring it to Custer County when they should have? See, not the board. I'm talking
Because
where.
they
See,
kept it secret.
there was no secret. They were working on it. They've been working on it for 2 years now. It eventually has to come to a vote. And don't you think somebody would be waiting for somebody to get a meeting?
Just ask a
Okay.
general question.
I don't.
Outside of this.
I'm worried about accusing these guys.
A, my water right holders and my people in Custer County are more important
Yeah,
than this.
that's why I'm.
Okay? I am just flabbergasted. And excuse me for the way I'm going to say this. I'm flabbergasted that you're siding with them.
I'm not.
Hang on. Okay.
Don't take that word back. I'm not
I
siding with
do
them.
take it back. Okay? I didn't mean side with them. You seem to be wordsmithing things to make it seem
All right,
like they
okay.
acted appropriately, honestly, and in good
No.
with integrity. And I don't feel that took place.
I,
And I think the only
and
reaction
the
we
point
can have...
that I'm making,
Hang on,
I
hang on,
agree
let me
with you,
finish.
Jay.
I'll listen to you. I'll listen to you. I've listened all the time. My feeling is we need to stand up for our constituency. They have told us loud and clear over and over, I want out of this plan.
'Cause we don't know.
Unless we're at the table.
Right.
And we can work out something that
Right.
might work. So take this plan off the table and let's sit down. That's what this letter is supposed to be doing.
Right.
Okay, I would
I
assume,
apologize if I offended you because I did not.
It is
mean to.
because
No, I apologize.
I object to the way things came down and the fact that these citizens, my citizens as well, didn't get an input into it either, and myself. So, therefore, if it's really behind closed doors and they have done something they shouldn't be doing, I want to fire every one of them. Okay?
It's a separate issue.
That's how I would. That's this separate issue.
I agree with that.
So that's why I want it to be a separate issue, and what we really need to tell them is, we're standing firm. We don't like the plan. We need to change the plan. How are we going to change the plan? And they have the power to do that, not us. And we haven't even gotten any advice from our attorney yet before we're reacting that we're going to spend some money on. So my point is, if we're going to do that, how do we get that done without costing our people money to get to the same end where we're going to get it withdrawn or individually worked? That would be a travesty if we sit there for 4 years and decide not to talk to them because they don't withdraw it. So how do we couch that in this letter that says we want to work with you, but we want to work in such a way that we're not racing a clock against a water action that we don't agree with? And so that's the point. How do we write the right letter to firmly state our not approval of this plan as it's been submitted?
okay, back to
Without
where I was
shooting ourselves in the foot. So go ahead.
biding in my time so that I could speak without interrupting.
And I will. You did well.
Correct me if I'm wrong, I have a question for both of you. Do you believe the citizens, specifically the water right holders in this county, knew the details about this water augmentation plan?
I didn't know what the thing.
Do you believe they knew that Upper Ark was getting ready to unveil this? Not the
Apparently
specifics,
not.
the entire plan. Do you believe the citizens and the water right holders knew that?
Of course
I do not either.
I don't either.
If you don't believe that, then how can you take exception with this sentence that you brought up in the fourth paragraph? They acted behind our backs.
Who's the they, Tom?
Upper Ark. It says
Who
right here,
exactly?
Upper
Well,
Ark.
who's Upper Ark? The Upper Ark.
The
are
board
they-
of directors,
well,
we can spell it out if that's a problem. Obviously, it's the board of directors. That is Upper
because
Ark.
what they'll do, Tom, is they're going to come back and say, okay, how can that be? We're the board, we're the entity, and we did X, Y, and Z. we need, I don't think we have enough information, to me, except for some, once a month, the board got together. What are they doing in the background, and what should a representative be doing by their job title? What are they supposed to do? They're supposed to make the citizens aware of this action. They don't. Why would you go 3 years and hide things and then pop it on them and then have them come to you in court? That's crazy. And so we have to fix that. And oh, by the way, how do we firmly say that was wrong?
We say that by saying there can be no trust and there can be no relationship when our partner in water acts behind our back in veiled secrecy.
Okay, I'll tell you how I'd word it. I would say there can be no trust if our citizens have not been made aware of an action that's going to occur. We're slapping them in the gut at the same time. Now, if you want to do that, then you better have a good cause, in my view, from an ethical point of view and a legal point of view, if we're going to throw an accusation of illegal activity. That's illegal. To me,
we just sat right here and agreed that these citizens did not know about this,
so
correct?
How in the world come?
That's not what we're addressing here. We're trying to address, did they or did they not inform the citizens of this county about the dog?
And I would say in there, you didn't inform the citizens of this county. You don't, and accusing them of doing it illegally and immorally puts us in a bad light professionally, I think, and ethically. That's why I do not want to sign that. Personally, I'll sign any letter that says the water plan is not what any of these citizens agreed to, because we don't know enough information about it. They've never been presented to this plan ever. And I'll hammer them till hell freezes over that we had better work if we're going to get an augmentation plan and we got to know for sure that it's not going to harm the water right holders of this valley. And it gives an opportunity to efficiently and without a lot of heavy cost to do things that the county wants to do with the water. These citizens have the right. If we pulled out, any one of these guys can sell water in and out of here and all that.
And that has nothing to do with this letter,
I know,
Bill.
I
This
know.
letter is chastising them for not informing the citizens
That's
of
right,
this county.
and I'm good with that.
That's
Chastising.
what this is about. We haven't accused him of doing anything illegally.
Yeah, but you're
We have
closing
said
the
that-
door, Tom, to talking to them.
That's
you
a
did.
whole nother discussion.
That's not either. You said it. You're not going to talk to them.
So
Not true, Bill. That's not
That's
true.
what it says. Until
No,
they
it
agree to
isn't.
withdraw it, we're not going to talk to them.
We're not going to sanction any such meeting that Skanga is recommending.
Until when?
Until they withdraw this
That's what I
application.
said.
You said we were going to talk to them. We'll talk to them. We're not going to sanction a committee. That's what it says. That's all it
who's
says.
gonna
Well,
talk
you
to
said you were going to have a
well,
committee,
look,
as long as you...
well, any citizen, they already are talking to them. You know,
I
people
don't
that
know
are-
anybody that's talking to Upper Ark right now.
Randy Rusk has.
He is not. I spoke to him last
I
night.
talked to him, and he's talked to
He
Skanga.
read this letter and said, bravo.
Well, Bravo is I talked to him about it too, and I read the letter with him. The Bravo is we're standing tall and saying the plan is not what we agree to because we've never seen it. We don't have it. We don't know it's a good plan, and it looks like a bad plan on the face.
So get it off the table and let's get a good plan as a jointly.
Right.
That's the plan.
That's it.
And that's what the letter says. Get it off the table and then let's sit down and come up with a plan.
All right, let's read the last part then.
Okay. I think it's going to be futile.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't.
So the way to develop, we're offering a solution here, correct?
Right.
The way to develop a new relationship of trust and openness
And that's their word.
is to amend the augmentation plan by removing Custer County.
See, to me, you're laying down the gauntlet. You're saying either you remove it and then we'll play with you,
Yeah.
or we're not going to play. We're going to pack up and we're going to leave.
That's what
All
I'm
right,
saying.
and if that's the
Exactly
case,
right.
then we're laying the. If they do not pull, then we are putting our citizens at risk of spending a lot of their money to fight the actions in court.
Inappropriate. Here's why.
Why?
There are alternatives. What are they? I don't know yet. We're going to have an attorney tell us, but I do know here are some. I'll just throw out what it entails and how, I don't know. We could move to the lower Arkansas. We can have a Custer County Conservancy District. There are options available. I'm not saying, look, pulling out of this is not saying to our water right holders, I'm sorry, we as commissioners have put you, you're out on your own, don't worry about it. That is not the plan. The plan is what Upper Ark did is wrong. It was done in secrecy, behind our back, without our input, and we asked them to remove us, and it didn't even get a second. And if you tell me that wasn't in veiled secrecy, I'll eat my computer.
That's why I want to hold them accountable for doing that, Jay.
How about this?
Because let me tell you something. You make good points. Let me respond to it.
Sure.
Go find a private outfit and let's say we team up with somebody and we come up with our own district. Where's the money to start it? And where's the money to fight it in court? Where are you going to get? You gonna get some billionaire going to give us to keep the water in the county? We don't have it. That doesn't mean the options are as good. And so what I don't want to do is lose the option of still having the power behind an organization that theoretically should have been representing us, and theoretically we've been a member of, and theoretically have paid money into to represent us, and then turn our back and walk away from it when in fact that is an agency we have more control in. A private organization, they could go off and do something that we couldn't have. The county hasn't got any money to fight it.
I can see this is probably not.
Okay.
We're not
All right.
gonna
So,
come
but
to
why?
consensus,
Let me propose
so-
this. Why can't we take a look at how we not wordsmith it, but make the point that we do need to talk with them, and if we lay and where's the red line that we lay? If you don't allow us to do X, then we give up and we'll go to court.
But
Well, we're
there.
not we
Are we
county.
there?
It's already in court.
Right.
That's
But they can stop it and they
and
can
we
delay it.
asked them to remove us.
Right.
If they would have said, we will do that, I promise you, my next words would be, great, let's get a committee together and let's start working out how this could work out, if it's even doable. But I want my water rights holders at that table.
Right. I agree.
And they said, no. They said, we won't even discuss it. And the only way you can discuss it is to have a second to a motion. They refused to even discuss it. So
Yeah, but,
my feeling is there is a line in the sand, and they have crossed it, and I refuse to go onto their side of the battlefield.
Made a good point. The point there is to discuss it in that meeting with a few of the water right holders isn't doing what they should have done and should do now, and that is make sure everybody has a voice and everybody can voice it and they can react to it and answer the questions. In a meeting like that, they wouldn't have answered any questions, right? It would have.
Either I
We need
didn't
to do it right.
articulate it well,
They
or it was
both-
misinterpreted. What I meant to say was, if they would have removed us from the plan, voted to remove us, then I would have said, now let's move forward with the committee, your Blue Line Committee, and whoever in the county we feel is appropriate, and certainly it would be the water right holders and anybody else who feels we're going to come up with a good scheme to make sure that we're well represented. Then we sit down, come up with a plan. Look, they've been playing with this Blue Line thing for how many years? Another month or two to work it out with us?
Won't
Would
hurt.
have been done?
That's the point I'm trying to make too, Jay.
Right.
And I want to make it without them deciding, I don't care what Custer County thinks, we'll pull you and we're not coming back.
They
And I'll
can't,
tell you why.
but-
They can.
by statute, Bill, we
What-
are a dues-paying member of Upper Ark.
That's true, and we can continue to pay our dues and not be able to, if they draw the line where they're going to do it, they're not going to have any benefit to this county to augment water if they wanted to, or to put a storage in here to augment it correctly. It's over if
Can I
that's the
suggest
case,
this, Chairman?
and we're paying for nothing.
A suggestion.
Go ahead.
Suggestion. How about, Bill, why don't you bring us tomorrow what you feel the letter should
Okay.
look like, and let's beat it up tomorrow.
That's a good idea.
Okay, it's a suggestion, correct?
Suggestion.
I have a question for council. If the commissioners by majority vote approve this letter and sends it to Upper Ark, Bill's indicated he would not sign it as it's written. I respect that, don't have a problem with that.
Boards.
So legally, the commission by majority vote approves this, then are we obligated to take Commissioner Canada's name off of the letter as a signee?
stay on there, but indicate that he voted against it.
And legally, I'm not trying to set you up, I'm trying to actually get to the core of the matter. If we vote to sign this letter and it passes by a majority vote, does he have to sign it?
No, not if he votes against it. He doesn't have to sign it. What I was going to suggest is sort of the way the U.S. Supreme Court does. They reach a decision, but sometimes for different reasons. And I mean, Bill's in favor of sending a letter, but he doesn't agree with the way this is worded. He could write his own letter, and that could actually be stated that he's, stating what his position is, and he thinks it's important for this board to communicate with Upper Ark, but he doesn't agree with the wording of this. If you vote on this as it's written, he could submit his own letter or attach it.
You got a good point. And one thing they did tell me, Tim Canterbury said this, is that he intends to, and he thinks there's enough people that agree to delay this action in the court. Now, delay means not do anything legally. They can delay it as long as they want. And if we can, and have the real meetings that occur, to take a year, whatever, to do what you're just saying to do, without slapping the risk of us not being able to talk or to relay it. Other than me, I'm telling you, I am personally concerned for my own place. Because if I have to go to court because there's an injury caused by other actions around me, not through Upper Ark, but anything, I've already been impacted by the PUD that's right across the street from us. It dried up 2 springs because they dried up a corner to augment water up to Horn Creek several years ago on an action that was separate out of Upper Ark. It had nothing to do with.
Can I respond to the Tim Canterbury comment? Tim Canterbury has no veracity.
Yeah, where's the trust?
Let me finish, please. Tim Canterbury has no veracity with me at this point. That doesn't mean we can't earn that again, and I'm fine with it. But if he says to you, I will delay it.
He didn't say that.
Hang on. Well, that's what you just said.
Said he would. That's what he's trying. That's what he sees. He's not. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway.
No, you're right.
He flatly came out and said, if Custer County does not want to be in this plan, they will not be in this plan. We said we do not want to be in this plan, and you never heard another word out of his mouth. So, to me, him saying that we'll delay the whatever, I'm sorry, he lost his veracity with me because of that issue. So I'm just telling you that. So,
okay,
I'm not sure I believe what he says.
The discussions pertaining to the letter, I'd like to see, I'm giving you my input, I'd like to see this sentence about this was submitted in secrecy behind Custer County's back removed.
Great, let's take it.
Because I'm not sure that's absolutely an accurate and truthful statement. That's where I'm at. If I'm going to suggest we take it out now and then look at it as we move along.
Okay, I took it out of mine.
Thank you.
All right,
now, Commissioner Canada, my question would be to you, sir. What else in this letter do you take exception to?
See, behind your back.
What paragraph, please?
I'm down to the next paragraph. I'm doing the same thing I said
1,
before.
2,
It's
3.
related
Third
to
paragraph?
what you just took out.
Okay. Third paragraph. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So you can't argue with the first 2 sentences. Then you get down to where there can be no trust in a relationship where our partner acts behind our back in veiled secrecy and proposes an ill-conceived premature augmentation plan.
And they admitted that by saying we don't have the hydrology done, but we're getting it done now. It's premature.
Right. I agree with that. What I don't agree with is
the behind the back thing.
Behind the back.
Okay.
It's pretty.
Would you have some suggested language
well,
there?
But what value is that?
We can soften it. Well, I think the value is, and the reason I put it in, this wasn't really as emotional as it sounds. This was really very strongly worded intentionally to say, guys, you are not representing us. We want you to represent us. I believe you did this without our input, which is behind the back. And therefore, we are saying, if you want us to be a partner with you in water, you must act for our best interest. And I'm not believing that's going on at this point. That's what I'm
Okay.
trying to say.
Okay.
We can soften it.
And
I'm
let-
fine with that.
Here, Jay, hear me out now.
Sure.
Without our input on a board that has our representatives and the representatives of the other counties, it should be making sure that their input of the citizens should have been made available to them. And so I want to see, they're going to argue with us, on this. They're going to object. And I don't want to have us shoot ourselves in the foot and look like we don't know what the heck's going on. We didn't, apparently.
Change the words.
Let me think about it. That's why I liked your idea of waiting on this for a day, because if we've only gone over this since we got the thing Friday.
I wrote it the same day we had.
Right, but then didn't we change it, a couple things on it, or
Time had a few
Some
minor
typo.
typos
and
stuff.
things. Yeah.
And I haven't had a chance to, like I said, I've talked to the Upper Ark guys, I've talked to our guys, we got every citizen up here wanting to have the right plan or the ability to interact with them to get either their input in or out of it. I don't want to lose that opportunity with them. And have them go and file and cost everybody a lot of money, including me.
How about there can be no trust and there can be no relationship when our partner in water apparently
I'm fine.
acted
Okay.
behind our back? It appears to me that they did. There's no question in my
Right.
mind. But
It's like, you're what do they call it when you're arresting somebody? You gotta be, it's apparent that you committed this crime
Right.
until we prove it.
right. I'm just going to stick it in there and see.
Allegedly, that kind of thing. That's not apparently.
Apparently acts behind their back. That softens it significantly. It's not an accusation now. It's a what we
It's a
think.
statement of what we believe.
What we think. It's what look apparent to the common citizen.
Agreeing with it.
Yeah.
This was just my salvo. You can.
And I want to throw out another thing. It's not directly pointed to the discussion about this letter, but we've digressed a little, so I'm going to continue that.
It's the only time we get to talk. Let's talk.
I guarantee you, Bob Cinderhoff has every ounce of responsibility to inform this county,
Yeah.
as Bill Donnelly
Absolutely.
and myself.
Absolutely.
Guarantee you, there's not been one word in this county from Bob Cinderhoff about this augmentation plan
Okay.
and the work leading up to December 13th vote.
Maybe so. But he
Seems
claims
like-
there was. Where did the 20 come from? I don't know. That's the first time I've seen 20.
That comes from the minutes.
There's a set of
Came
minutes.
from minutes?
And the December 13th, I sat there and listened to him say, I've conducted over 50 meetings. The minutes say 20. We heard 50 meetings at the bowling alley. I'm not going to argue about 20 or 50.
He claims they were.
Nobody's going to deny that. Not one damn meeting pertained to this AUG plan to Custer County.
Of those,
Not one.
Of those 20 that he had?
No.
They were just.
In the
What were
last
they
20
about?
some years. But he doesn't say that. We
That-
live in this county. You tell me that he's conducted 20 meetings to talk about this blue line expansion.
Okay, and if he hasn't, then he deserves every ounce of our wrath and the ability to get him the heck
There
out
is
of
the
here.
wrath.
If he didn't, you're convicting
We
him
live
now.
here. Did he conduct
I don't know.
meetings?
We got to get the minutes of. Let's have him prove it. But the point is, it needs to be fixed. We need to talk. I agree with you.
This, I think,
I
is
don't
an
know.
attempt to fix
Okay.
it, to call Upper Ark to task. I'm not going to dispute that Cinderhoff's had 20 meetings in this county.
Okay.
He can say that all day long. I won't argue. I will challenge him to say, how many meetings did you have in this county about this augmentation
So
plan?
to me, I agree. We're building a case that says they've performed in an unethical and illegal manner on that whole thing for the last 20 years, if that's the case. Because out there in the business of augmenting water, everybody knows that. And to have them not discuss it with us is terrible.
It's unconscionable.
It is unconscionable. That's a better word.
A couple other things. I don't know about this record. I'm not disputing Jackie's research. Let me tell you something. Because I sat in the meetings.
You are the man. Tell us.
If the word, and I looked, I can show you, if the word augmentation plan comes up in the minutes, don't think for a stinking minute that that absolves them. Oh, we've kept you informed.
Right, that's all
No,
they say.
that is absolutely bullcrap. Let me cite you an example. These are the minutes that council requested. We did not go through an open
Did you send those to
Records
everybody?
Act. They sent them to Clint. Let me quote you so that you get an idea
Can you
of
send them
what
to
we're
everybody,
talking
Clint?
about.
Yeah, I think
I can
he's
go back and look and see if he did, but
Well, it doesn't matter. I just wanted.
No, I think
have
it was
now
a request from Tom, it's saying he couldn't get the minutes, so I got them.
Gave them to Tom.
And sent them out to Tom.
I want the minutes.
I do not dispute if Jackie says they talked about an augmentation plan in a set of minutes. I don't dispute that.
Well, you looked at the minutes.
Got no problem.
Jackie-
I read
Jackie
every
said-
one of these stinking
No,
minutes.
no, I'm just asking Jackie.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were talking to me.
You did or didn't?
Yes,
You did.
yes.
And that's why I said I don't dispute what she's saying. Got no issue with that. But I want to put it in context.
Yeah.
No wells, Mr. Commissioner. I want to put it in context so that you understand. I randomly picked one, so I'm going to have to look down here and find it.
No, I know.
Let's see, it would be, should be under Skanga's report.
Don't they have a blue line
let me
committee report?
No, hell no, there's no Blue Line Committee report. I will challenge them at the next meeting. I'm going to request to be on the agenda to produce the set of minutes where the or the chairman or the board appointed these members on this Blue Line Expansion Committee. I guarantee you that was not done in a public meeting that I attended. I believe, if you guys remember right, I also admitted there were 2 or 3 meetings that I did not attend.
Right.
I looked the minutes up. Let's look.
Nobody's
I
challenging
would,
that.
I would suspect that that Blue
November
Line
8th.
Committee predates you being
And,
commissioner.
oh, I agree. If they can prove that in a set of minutes, I will absolutely
I don't have any
agree.
idea.
Which minutes am I? I may be in the wrong set of
Guys are
minutes. So, November 8th.
Let's talk about Mark Howard. That's more fun.
Yeah.
About what?
You're
Let's talk
right.
about Mark Howard. That's more fun.
It's true.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Well, this is.
Counselor, do you have these set of minutes that they sent you?
I don't have it on
Okay.
my
Would you have a
iPad.
date, Tom, on it? Pick one where they say, it says right here, like blue line.
November
discussed,
the
like
8th. This is
October,
where I'm at right
yeah,
here. I
November.
wanted to make you guys
Blue line
understand.
discussed, then
And I just need to find the sentence here, so.
blue line expansion discussed. Number one priority. This is a good one here, Tom. 13 September. It says number one priority. So when they discussed it. You got a 13
November,
or September 13?
September you said?
Yeah, September 13.
No.
You don't have it.
Of 2018?
Oh, here's a timeline discussion on October the 9th. And you were there too.
I'm rejecting all.
This might be a good one to look at. You got October 9th.
Don't get too hurt.
And you're a speed reader.
Yeah, this is Baker. He didn't. This would be under Skanga's report. Chelsea Nutter didn't have anything to do with that.
Project manager, what's that? says
get
water
to,
court there. What was that?
we need to get to Skanga's report.
They're adjourning there.
So Manager Skanga asked about the blue line expansion and a time frame now that the projection tool is complete. Attorney Burgermeister responded saying that if Friend Ranch, which is sure as hell not in Custer County,
It's up there in
and Silver Creek can move forward in August, he will get something to Manager Skanga and Engineer Minera to review in September. The order of operations continues to get reprioritized as projects arise that need to be addressed immediately. This has resulted in the long-term projects being pushed to the number 2 position. That, I guarantee you, is this reference right here. You brought it up. Number 1 priority. You tell me.
Was that the 13th? That's
that
right.
That talks about Custer County.
Doesn't.
From day one, I have maintained not one damn time that I sat in those meetings that they had a discussion about the blue line and the augmentation plan for Custer County.
For Custer County. So the blue line expansion is the whole district, right?
No,
Well,
it is not the whole district, Bill.
No, it's as it applies only to Custer County. Is that what it is?
No.
That's right.
There's the map
I know.
of the.
I saw it. I agree. I'm
Then
just.
how could you ask
I'm
that
trying.
question?
What I'm trying to do is rationalize what we need to do. If they're mentioning blue line expansion, and anybody could sit in that meeting and say, all right, what does that have to do with Custer County, right? It doesn't say a darn thing about it.
No.
So why wouldn't they be obligated to say this is in? To me, every time blue line expansion is referenced, it ought to be in context with what all the territory that covers. Why isn't it? You know,
Because they were working behind our back. That's why. They did not want it in the public eye, Bill.
They knew what they went through with Custer County past when they tried to push through a plan. And
maybe that's
they
it.
didn't want it.
Not maybe. I can quote you
They
that.
did not want to go
Maybe.
through that again, so
Maybe
they
that's
thought
it.
they would slip it through. And I'll tell you, the truth of the matter is, in my heart, if Linda Poole from St. Isabel Land Trust didn't say, hey guys, are you aware of this?
We wouldn't
To
have been
this
aware.
day, I may not even know about it. Because they're not discussing it up at the ARC
That's
meetings.
all more reason to hold them accountable.
Well, I know, and look, in my opinion, this was sleazy, behind our back. I mean, I can't put any other words to this. When you do this behind my back, without me being informed, outside of the jury, it's terrible. You can't do this. It's wrong. And we need to put a line in the sand saying, we are going to fight you to the death. Now, you want to retract where you are? Retract this, and we'll sit down with you and talk? That's benevolent of us, in my opinion. Which, for whatever work that is.
I'm going to read this because obviously I believe I'm the only one sitting in this room besides Jackie that's probably read it.
Correct.
This is from December 13th. This was the meeting that they voted to submit the plan to Division 2. Additionally, Attorney Burgermeister said that he is hoping to file the Blue Line Augmentation Expansion Plan expansion application for Eastern Fremont and Custer County by the end of the month. I challenge you to get into these minutes and find mention of Custer County before that line, right there. It is not. I've been through them all, but you're welcome to look. There is a little remaining work to be done and data to collect from hydrologist Gertson and engineer Minera, but the end of the month should be possible for filing. This is December the 13th.
Right.
At this time, there is no specific document for board approval, but a motion was requested to proceed with filing for that application. That request came from Cinderhoff. Chairman Cinderhoff said it is important to keep the ball rolling and that authorization should be given to Manager Skanga Attorney Burgermeister and Engineer Manera to finish the work necessary to get the application submitted by the end of the calendar year.
So that
Managers,
right there, before you
I
go
beg
further,
your-
that's a good point to
I
make,
beg your
because
patience here. Manager Skanga reminded the board that this has been approved in the past, but another board approval timed with the filing of the application is a good idea. Director Olinger asked where we are at in terms of support from leaders of Fremont County and Custer County, and noted the two commissioners present. Director Payne, Fremont County Commissioner, said he has no issues with the expansion. Manager Skanga remarked that we are working with both Fremont and Round Mountain and both support the expansion. Chairman Cinderhoff, with regards to Custer County, said that Director Donnelly has been active in this decision, and speaking for himself, the chair said he hasn't heard anything negative from other commissioners. Director Olinger suggested getting ahead of any opposition through water education, specifically the features and benefits of augmentation. Manager Skanger responded by saying that there is a time and a place for education, but the first step is to file the application. Let me reread that. Manager Skanger responded saying that there is a time and a place for education, but the first step is to file the application.
and hold that thought.
Director Olinger said he was more concerned with non-industry people and suggested being more proactive. Custer County Commissioner Flower agreed with Olinger and said he would be concerned for the residents of Custer County if they didn't have the information they needed to support the expansion. Chairman Cinderhoff interjected, saying that he has had more than 20 meetings with the people of Custer County, and from his perspective as a chairman and a member of the community, this is the right way to go. Had nothing to say about what he thought the community believed. Manager Skanga followed up by saying that he learned several things from past experience with Custer County. He learned that the former proposed augmentation plan was a little too aggressive. We also learned that some citizens of Custer County who needed augmentation had to file their own applications and go to court at great expense because Upper Ark did not have an umbrella augmentation plan to serve. Manager Skanga further expressed that this issue should not be politicized and the commissioners are tasked with authority over land use, not water use. It goes on, but that's
Okay, so
the
let me make the
primary
point
point
to
of it.
support exactly what you said. Up above, they also pointed out that the engineering wasn't ready, but go ahead anyway, which we're finding out now, which to me boggles my mind that they would have voted to put it in without that having been accomplished in order to get the people of the county familiar with it. That's a red flag to me, right there. The people of this county need to be informed on what that plan is and with the right engineering in there, and that hasn't even occurred according to what he says here. So we need to have a firm hand, like we have all agreed. And I do not want to miss the opportunity to get us engaged with them sooner than later. That's it. So if you're, go ahead.
Okay, I'm going to make this final comment and then whatever. They told us, we do not want you involved. We will not listen to what you have to say when we ask them to listen to us. They said, we don't care what you say. They wouldn't even discuss it. And they said, this is the plan and it's going forward. Okay? We say, baloney.
Yeah.
We as a county will not stand for that, and we're going to do whatever we can to protect the water rights in this county. I don't care about Fremont, I don't care about Pueblo, I don't care about El Paso, I don't care about anybody else, because I know our water will go down that Arkansas, and some of those downstream counties are going, this is a great plan, I'm getting more water. I know that.
You're 100% right, but I'll go one step further. I do care what they do in Chaffee County because it can affect us. We can't hide that. But
What I mean
I know what you're.
when it's not as long as it's not affecting us, They
That's-
do what they
that's
want
right.
with their water. They don't want to object to this plan, that's their business.
Right.
I'm objecting to this plan because the citizens and the water right
I agree.
holders said loud and clear, get us out of this mess.
I think the key sentence in this document is barring removal of Custer County from your filing, the BOCC will not sanction such a meeting. I get that we have issues with the language, I understand that. The intent,
Yep.
as I read it, is that sentence, that we're not gonna sanction a big meeting with them while we are at odds with them and we're in court with them. That to me is what it says. Now, if it continues, I would love to have us all three have our signatures on this.
Let's,
If that's not the way it goes, then that's fine, I live with that. But if we didn't do due diligence and have this conversation and try to get this letter so that we could all three sign
I
it,
agree.
then we're not doing our job.
that's why I want, let's take it out and look at it.
But we softened it by comparing the
Written it up.
parent.
I'd like to have Clint look at it and just make sure legally we're not doing something that we
Well-
can't and shouldn't do.
I'm certainly can send Clint a copy of this. We're not accusing them of any illegal activity. We're stating our opinions. There's nothing illegal about that.
As long as that's a bit, like with the fix we made, that's helped.
Yeah, there's nothing in there that's actionable that they can say, oh, you've slandered us or something.
Right.
Really, all we're telling them is we're not going to sanction any meeting, and we give them some reasons why we're not going to do that. Just a couple items. Personally, I would like to see this come to a vote today. Secondly, it's not going to go on to the meeting tomorrow as an agenda item unless we would be within Robert's Rules of Law to postpone this to a specified time. I don't believe there's any other way this will roll to tomorrow's agenda legally. You can't put it under new business. You can't just roll it to unfinished business. Because there's nothing going on right now that's preventing us from having a conversation. If the building caught on fire, then it automatically would go to unfinished
You want
business.
Mr. Robert's rules?
You
If
could
tell
add
me
it to
that,
the
I'll
2
buy it.
o'clock agenda tomorrow if you really wanted to.
Yes, depending on,
I'm
let's
in
see.
favor of voting on it today also, because this might be
The
get
what?
this over with, and if it has to be 2 to 1, you'll address it with the people who have one.
Print it out like we've changed it, Tom.
Okay, we took out that
I'm
sentence
thinking-
you objected to, and I had no issue. We made apparently acts behind our back and veiled secrecy. That softened it significantly. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with any of it. I mean, I just want them to know that we are not coming to the table. You are not now going to tell me you're going to be my good buddy.
All right.
We're going to go work this out after you told me. And we're on camera and we have ladies in the room, but
It's okay.
I will not say it, but what they really said to us when they didn't second that motion, I personally.
I agree. I'm
got that
100%.
loud and clear.
All right, so now let's look at the last sentence that Tom pointed out, and that's that.
The most important.
Right, and so
sentence here. It has to be.
I would actually make it to where we gotta, I'm talking from a negotiation point of view now, so don't misunderstand what I'm saying. We're giving them a black or white, one or none or the other. I think there's still an avenue where if there's an opportunity to get talking, we need to do it. If they decide they don't want to withdraw us, what are we going to do? Nothing? Let's think about what the next step is.
Courtesy to this position.
I know.
They said we want no discussion from you. None.
So I hear you. I'm just asking the question now.
Well,
If let's just play it out. Let's suppose you send them a letter and they say, sorry, we spent too much money and we're not going to pull you. What are we going to do?
There's a copy of the letter.
We're going to get our lawyer, they're going to get some options, and then we could ask for withdrawal from the upper arc.
And
Is that what you're saying?
One of the options could always be, this is not something we choose to take on and let this blue line augmentation go in. We retract our objection, our opposition. That's certainly an option from us too.
If in negotiations later you see that, or not negotiations, I'm talking
There is
about
no
meetings.
negotiation
I
here.
misused the word.
I'm sorry.
Just calm down. You gotta get calm here. If it goes through without us talking one more time as a county and doing anything, it's going to be up to the citizens to defend their each action separately. And
Disagree.
Well,
Disagree.
I do too.
I'm not going there.
what do
It's
you mean?
already been done, Bill. They don't have a choice.
Yes, they do. I
No,
asked
they
them.
do not.
They can.
They have
can
already
withdraw.
filed.
Yes,
their
I know they
opposition.
did. I know they did.
Okay.
But they have an opportunity to withdraw their whole.
Who?
The upper arc does. They can withdraw the whole
Sorry, I
plan.
was talking about the citizens of this county.
I'm not talking about. I'm talking about in order to get the citizens of this county an opportunity to hear it and make sure the objections are either satisfied or not. And it may not be resolved. That's why you go to water court, and then it'll be resolved later. But if we can get things done now, which is what we wish they would have in the first place, without cost, leveraging their people and their data that they already have to defend it or not, and we end up in the end still going to court, but with a lot less action possibly and a lot less expense to the people that are involved. I care about that because I'm involved, just like several other people are that worry about getting the water rights protected. So, is there a way, Jay? I'm asking a lawyer now.
I'm not a lawyer at this table.
No, I know, but I'm asking your brain that thinks like one. I mean, you wrote the letter. Come on. Is to make sure that I would like to see if if they can delay that action, which they tell me they can. I wouldn't even be pushing down this
As
route.
someone who's lied to our face before.
Not from Tim. I'm talking to Senderhoff. I talked to Skanga about it. And every one of them admitted they can withdraw this and stop it and slow it down any amount of time they
And
want.
that's all we're asking.
Do it.
No, you gave them a black and white that says withdraws. You said
Withdraws.
That's not what I said. I said before they take that action to discuss and change it if it's possible, and in that discussion, they could decide on their own to withdraw it because they see they screwed up. They didn't have the engineering done. They're hurting people. Whatever.
So why can't they withdraw us today? Or,
They could.
Have these discussions. We come to a consensus. We all agree, and they resubmit.
Okay. Then maybe the last sentence says, you got a choice here, you guys. We want you to withdraw us now. Or you tell us that you could, if this is true, what you say is true, state it. We will delay this, we'll stop action in court. They can do that.
Well, delay and stop action is two different things. Stop action is withdraw
No,
of
I'm
Custer
talking
County.
today.
I don't hit the names.
Okay, then you gotta leave
Okay,
it.
I say, now I get it.
When you say stop action, to me that means withdraw
All right.
us.
I don't know. Where'd you get that? Is that illegal?
How else would they stop action on
By
it?
saying, hold on, court, we're not going to do anything until we
That's
resolve some
a
issues.
delay.
Okay, maybe it's just
Well, it's
black
already
and
a
white
2-year
delay.
delay. You're telling me 2 to 4 years?
Well, it's
You
4
just
years.
said
No,
it.
it's not a delay. That's actually, they're going through the
I
process.
understand.
of
The
resolving it.
process.
Right.
4 years.
I don't
Would you
I don't want them to do it.
would you entertain a sentence to? I'll just paraphrase something. At the end, at the very end of this, there's your copy. You asked for a copy of it. To say, if the Upper Ark Board would choose to remove Custer County from this filing, we would be more than happy to sit down and start a conversation
Time out.
again.
Please read the
That's
last
what
paragraph.
it
That's
says.
exactly
That's
what
what it
I said.
says.
Exactly. And that's not words in
The
new
way to
relationship.
develop a new relationship is to amend the augmentation plan by removing Custer County. Once this occurs, a new relationship of trust and openness may begin in earnest, and Custer County will join Upper Ark at the table.
I think there's an
That's
or.
exactly what you
Thanks.
I think that's right.
It's
I
exactly
think there's an or there that would be appropriate, and that would be or unless you can stop or delay action. Come on, give them the choice. If they can elect not to continue.
They've
No.
already told us they elected to continue by not even discussing it.
Yeah, but see, that since then we've objected to them, and there's a whole bunch of data on the table. We
objected
people
to
have been,
We haven't said a
people have
word.
been down. I've been
since
there.
they
You've
did
been
that.
there. People have gone down. Okay, that's just my thought.
I would
Further
love-
discussion.
Yes, I think we need to be in consensus. I think it needs 3 signatures. And my personal opinion, I really wish you'd join us on this. I really do. We have time to work this through if they do what they need to do.
If you believe they will not just go along and without us, period.
Okay.
And
Well,
I'm
I'll make my statement.
I'm just making that statement.
My perception is this, that they're not gonna withdraw this application. I believe that. I believe we need to do
Due diligence.
thank you. We need to perform our due diligence
Right.
by requesting that they do it again. This is the 3rd time.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to operate from a knee-jerk reaction. This has been months in the planning.
So-
I don't think we are giving them some big ultimatum. We're just telling them, if you don't withdraw, we're not going to sanction this committee that Cinderhoff suggested that you put together.
Right.
He didn't suggest we put it together. He suggested you put it together. That's in the
But
minutes.
the you would be me going. It would have to be us agreeing. I'm not going.
No,
I'm
no,
not putting
didn't
this
have a
together.
darn thing to do with it.
Sure it
Board of
doesn't.
County Commission.
No, I'm
I'll
talking.
read
No,
you
wait a
the
minute.
minutes.
I know it says. All I'm talking about. We put it together.
I'll
That's
read
us
you the
agreeing
minutes.
to do it. Not we're going to do it because they told us to. We don't
That's
have to
exactly what they did.
agree. No, we don't have to agree to do that.
No, we don't
Tom.
have to, and that's
Right.
what we're saying. We're not going to agree to that.
Okay.
That's exactly where we're at.
But we're
when,
giving
who-
them an out. We're saying, however,
Okay.
we are willing, and here's what it will take. I mean, that's all it is. This is, it says, and then I even use their words, an honesty, openly, whatever
Okay,
words
I
they
like
said.
that.
A relationship of trust and openness. We can do that, but you're gonna have to come to the table with something other than you're forced into this plan, which is
Okay.
where we are right now. Okay.
Go
for a
to
second.
come back and then we'll go.
I'm sorry to do this, because this is fun. I'm having a good time now.
Well, this is what we're paid to do.
Well, it is.
And honestly,
And I fully respect what you're doing.
I may not have received the minutes from the February meeting. Let me look.
It'll be up on the website.
Not until they're approved. That's the
Oh,
problem.
right, you're right.
I can look.
Not until they're approved, you're
Let's
right.
see, this is April, so they should have been approved
During their March.
March. So yeah, look.
you know, in truthfulness, I would love to have had some input from somebody that's been through, you know, the process. What I'm worried about, they're going to try to satisfy each filer separately, and they're going to jiggle the blue line around, and we're going to end up with some blue line that we're not going to agree to. Or have
That'll be
enough
up to the judge.
That's the point, and we're putting a guy at risk of spending the money and not getting what they need.
February 25th. That was their special meeting to deal with the North Fork Reservoir Compact. And that's the last minutes that are posted. So no, they have not posted the March minutes, so
No, they'll have to approve those.
approve them in April, yeah.
I still think, Jay, you know, I hear what you said, but this by removing Custer County from your filing, I think we still need to throw back the negotiation capability for them to say, okay, we will stop the action as an alternative. Because what they tell me, this is Skanga. They spent a lot of money. They spent it twice, 3 times now total. And there's the taste in their mouth right now is that if it's a black and white and people get torqued enough, they'll say, fine, Custer County, we're not going to do it with you guys ever. And then they're going to go on and they'll be buying water out of the valley anyway. They can do that. And we have no control back. So I would like to throw them not an olive branch, but a point that says we want to make sure the citizens have their input. Period. That's the whole point of this whole thing.
That's what we said.
Right. Yeah, but we gave them. You're only going to do it our way, and that is to remove us. There's the other option is to delay the action or whatever. We could say
I don't believe them.
I don't
well,
either.
but so you don't take them up on it. You can say, well, they gotta stipulate by what conditions they're going to delay it. I would think. That means stop the whole action, and we'll put it on hold until Custer County gets to review it, and we go through. And by the way, their engineering finishes. The engineering isn't complete yet. So we got to make what value is there taking it to the citizens if you can't show them that they're not injured or that they are going to get some benefit, right? You can't take it to the citizens
now anyway.
Yeah, but see, that costs the citizens, Jay. I've been talking to these guys. These guys do not want to go to court.
Which guys?
Randy Russ told me it cost him $16,000.
Randy Russ told me he's willing to fight.
No,
to the bitter
but
end.
you're
He
right.
told me
He
those
didn't say he
words.
wouldn't fight it. I'm saying he doesn't want to spend
Well,
the money.
no, nobody wants to.
Nobody wants to.
No.
So if we have an opportunity to save them that money to be used on their ranch for other things, that's what all I'm trying to work here. He will fight it to the bitter end, and so will everybody else that cares and has enough money and wherewithal to do it, and eventually you get tapped. If there's some way to delay the action and get them satisfied and get the engineering done to prove it, which is what they're going to have to do anyway, without having our people spend the money.
I think we're banging our heads against the wall.
Okay,
It's fine.
I'll go along.
I get you. I fully understand what you're saying.
And
I'm not willing to bend on this.
And I'm on the record saying, look, I've got concerns about how the approach is, period. I agree we have to do the action, we have to go through and make sure they know we're not happy and it needs to be discussed and it needs to be worked.
I just can't agree with that statement, Bill. I don't see how you think you're going to work this. It's in court. They've already filed it.
But and they assured me, not just one, 2 or 3 guys, they're in charge. They can stop it.
They can stop it. That's exactly right.
They can
withdraw this.
They can put a hold on it, and whatever legal mechanisms they go through to do that, it doesn't matter to me if they do. Same thing as withdrawing this, because you know what? The action's going to go on with Custer County out of it. And then where are we?
Absolutely.
We're behind the power.
Then we're back at the table and say, now, if you want an augmentation plan in Custer County, you sure as hell better talk to the people in Custer County.
Right.
They have not done that. Or we'd know about it. We live here. There'd be people in here screaming, what do you mean
Tom,
nobody's
nobody's
talked to us?
disagreeing that. That's
okay.
true. Nobody's
So then,
saw it.
I just don't get this, that we're gonna work this plan.
What I meant by that, Tom, is to do exactly what you're saying. They are obligated to show us whether they injure us or not and educate the ranchers to be either for or against it. In any case, there's going to be people against it, even if they knew everything in the world or all for it. But they've never had the opportunity. And so...
They had all the opportunity.
No, I'm not talking about them. Our people never had the opportunity to see it. Our people. So, all right. I don't care.
Further discussion.
Let's do something.
Public comment.
You don't want my comment.
All in
Yes, we do.
favor of approving this document as amended today, sending it to
Okay, read
Terry
how it's amended,
Skanga.
Tom, before we approve it.
We took out the word, which I've already deleted it, but I can go back to the original that said that this was done behind our back. We took that out, and we
added apparently acts behind our back in veiled secrecy and propose an ill-conceived premature augmentation plan.
but I've got to find that. Oh, there it is. Oh, yeah. There can be no trust and there can be no relationship when our partner in water apparently acts behind our back in veiled secrecy and proposes an ill-conceived. Is ill-conceived with a hyphen?
Yes.
Thank you.
I'm so getting told.
And premature augmentation plan.
I just had 50% chance of being right.
I love you.
All right,
Now, and the word effecting or affecting
affecting.
should be affecting, correct? You have effecting, yes.
Okay, let's fix that.
So let me read it to you again, that
Cause
sentence.
an effect. not
Yeah.
effect.
There can be no trust and there can be no relationship when our partner in water apparently acts behind our back in veiled secrecy and proposes an ill-conceived and
I like
premature
that.
augmentation plan affecting water in Custer County. And I don't believe we changed anything in the very last paragraph, did we?
No, then we added CCs to all the.
Yeah, and then there will be CCs on that, and we will ask Miss Meredith if it passes to do that. I don't know the legal format for CCs, but I believe it's that. Capital C, small c, colon, and then all Upper Arkansas Water Conservation District board members. Is that reasonable, gentlemen?
Yeah.
To me.
Further discussion?
Okay, the only last thing to say is this. I still think we have an issue that we probably ought to talk about later. The only reason I'm talking now is because we've got an open discussion. And that is that too many people have been operating with a lot of accusations about them, and I'm concerned about the ethically, whether they are fit to be a board personally, if that's true. And we need to follow through with, it's one thing to say we'll get together and play with you. It's another one, how do we know they're not going to do it some more if we really believe what we're saying?
Fair question.
And so what? And they come back to the bar. So if this is true, then we do need to do something later somehow. Maybe bring it up and let's see what their reaction is to this. Meanwhile, I will go for myself and others that want to go with me, and we're going to talk to these guys. If they don't react, whatever. It's not representing the county, it's representing us.
Just make that clear, please, and other than that,
That's
I
why
hope
I
you're
made
very
this statement
successful.
now, and then I will report back to this board what's going on if it matters.
I wish you success.
Two points I would like to make before we vote. Number one, I did add a date. I dated this letter as April 2nd, 2019. I thought that was appropriate, so that would be another
that's
change.
intentional.
And
Yeah, we
then,
don't let-
secondly, I would ask both of you your opinion on submitting this letter to both newspapers.
It's a record, they can have it, right?
I think as many people has shown up for our meetings and as many calls as we've all gotten, I think it is certainly appropriate to disseminate this to our constituency the best ways we can. And obviously the two papers are the best way, in my opinion. And they can choose to publish
Post
it
it
or
online
not
if
to.
they
It's their
want to.
decision. Unless we do
By
it tonight.
consent, can we direct our administrative assistant to send this as a press release to both papers?
I'm good with it.
I'm good with that, okay. Further discussion before we vote? That was based on the assumption that the motion passes, obviously.
Got it.
Can't imagine why I would.
Well, you certainly
I'm thinking about no.
have a right to vote your conscience. That's what we're all about, isn't it?
And that's exactly right. You are free to do what you feel is appropriate.
Hearing no further discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Motion carries. I will send this to you, Miss Meredith, right now.
You just send it, how you sending it to the papers?
She's going to do that. I'm assuming she will email a copy of it. The one thing I have said, I certainly said it to my wife in private, I'll say it to you guys. I hope that any issues and challenges that come before us never drive a wedge into us that we can't do what we just did, and that's have an open, honest discussion.
It's the only place we can do it.
Instead of throwing our hands up and say, screw it, do whatever you want, that would be very counterproductive. I don't know. I appreciate what Jay said about consensus. I wanted consensus, but we're maybe not always going to get that. And that's the lumps we take as individual commissioners. If I get outvoted, I get outvoted. If I've been involved in witness boards that would not take a stand on things because they wanted to present some united front. And I just don't think it's open and honest. I think today was open and honest. So.
Well, that's true, and I really believe that that we need to keep engaged with the boys, and that is the best bet on water. Anybody that can do battle for us, they're the valley, not us, the commissioners. It's the upper arc.
And that's why I said, Bill, I commend you for getting this group together. And I hope you have success and bring it back to us, and we all relish in that success. That's what I hope.
Well,
I just can't,
well, I'll tell you what this group's going to do. It's not going to let them get away with not bringing things because it's somehow missing it in a board meeting. For sakes.
Motion adjourned.
We'll be out of order, sir.
I knew that. I just thought I'd
You
give
just
it a
thought you
shot.
was testing me, weren't you?
Sneak something in.
I mean, you can certainly make that motion anytime you want, but can also be ruled out of order.
Thanks, Captain.
Would help if I would have the right agenda up here and not one from April the 3rd, since today is April the 2nd. I have heard many sighs of exhaust over there. We are getting to public comment, I believe. It's exactly where we're at. Public comment.
Well, I'd just like to point out that, Dan used to be in the planning and zoning office.
Yes.
And they worked for many, many years very hard to get a water augmentation plan up here. And it astounds me that the voice of people who might want it has been just totally ignored.
No.
Oh, yeah.
By who?
By you guys.
Oh, no. I beg
yeah.
to differ with you.
Well, all I've heard is, no, we want out. There are people that don't want out.
Name those people that have come to the commissioners that we have ignored. Name those to us.
Well,
Because
don't
that's
know.
where I take exception.
I don't know.
I don't think we've ignored anybody. Now, I thought you were going to
Shout
say,
it down for sure.
name one person.
Well, Dan and I, for one.
You didn't have an opportunity to speak?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Then
but
how-
at public meetings, we were shouted down. And that's fine. That's fine. But
And Dara's
there are
actually supporting
people in this county that want to open businesses in the industrial neighborhoods or in town or in this other, that are covered by that water augmentation plan, that can't afford to go get their own water augmentation plan, which is their only other option. And it's fine. I feel like I've been banging my head against a wall and I'm tired of it.
Jackie,
But I just want you guys to know that there are people out there that would like to have an opportunity to start businesses. But what we hear is, well, the ranchers. Now, I love the ranchers. Don't get me wrong. I love ranching. I love the cows. I'm not one. I don't have water rights, but, there has to be a balance. And in these discussions, I don't believe there has been. Whatever.
Okay. I agree with you. But I don't believe you can sit there and say we have ignored that, and which is what you said.
Okay, maybe not ignored. The feeling is that those comments aren't real welcome.
Okay.
Now that might be just
never heard of them.
that might be
Well, wait a minute.
that might be just
Jackie.
my perception.
I made that case, and you guys heard me say it because that was one of the issues I had. Our strategic plan has need for water. period, because there, you know, even in the industrial parks, there's 200 taps available. A guy might want to augment it for a business out in the hills somewhere, and we're going to have to deal with those. And a rancher may even have a family member he'd like to augment the water on and not pay through the nose. And I've brought that up several times in these meetings. It's a bigger picture than just the ranchers, for sure. Right now, the squeaky wheel has been the ranchers because they have the surface water rights. They're most obviously impacted. And so that's why I didn't want to lose the opportunity if they drop us. And then they had a normal guy that wants to try to build to our strategic plan has to go buy water at $40,000 instead of $4,000. It's an impact of whether he would even want to start a business up here. That's
sure.
And I made that point several times. That's why I don't want to risk them throwing us out, and that's why I was pushing so hard to make sure we amended this so that they're going to want to still play with us.
Round Mountain has said it can do 200 more.
And Round Mountain agrees with this
and does
plan.
not say how many commercial enterprises.
No.
That's right.
We want, yes, smart growth, controlled growth. Or do we want no growth? This town is dying. You know, this place, you know, if you want to be a retirement community, that's fine. And I don't want growth either like Vail or someplace. I don't see that happening. But it could, I suppose. I just feel like you guys are short-sighted in some ways with regard to this blue line. And this blue line expansion has been going on for years. And it's mentioned when they wanted to do it. They wanted to do it by the end of 2017. Didn't get it done. I mean, that's all stuff I've read.
I've read it as well. But because they wanted to do it.
Whose responsibility is it to come back here and inform the community? That's what the board members are supposed to do. Now, if the board members drop the ball, then those are the guys that you need to replace. Yeah. Not scream at what they did it behind our back.
Okay.
Well, what were our board members doing?
They never knew. Cinderhoff was the only one who knew about it.
Bullshit.
Okay?
Bullshit. I call
because
bullshit.
Cinderhoff says Donnelly knew about it doesn't mean anything.
Met with them up here at
Lake Deweese. I understand that.
Donnelly doesn't want so why would he? It serves his interest to not say a word.
Actually, it serves his interest if he would have brought it to the people, because if people
Maybe.
didn't want it, he could have built the case to us get rid of it.
And I'm sorry,
but he didn't.
forgive my language.
No, that's fine.
Forgive
We're
my
kind
language.
of.
I'm just.
I asked
I've been
Donnelly.
sitting here. I know. And
Did you know they were going to vote on the blue line augmentation plan on February the 13th? He told me no. December 13th, sorry. He said I had no idea. Sure, I was at the meeting at Lake Deweese when we discussed it with Jerry Livengood. He said that. He said I had no clue Cinderhoff was going to bring that up at the December 13th meeting.
But irrespective, anybody could have brought this forward a lot earlier than waiting till December
And
to
I
go
have seen
decide to bring it.
Cinderhoff present to the board, not you guys. And I don't think the former board. I think it was when Cheyenne and Berry were. I've watched them.
Well, I think Alan Butler brought it to the board one time. That's what I heard.
And maybe so. I wasn't here then. So, I don't know. I'm just, yes, I believe that the ball may have been dropped. Okay. I think the whole vehement adversarial attitude is a disservice to the county.
Okay. I want to touch base with something that you mentioned. I'm not argumenting, I just want to respond.
That's fine.
When you say, to some degree, you believe we're short-sighted, okay? I don't think just because Upper Ark wanted and has planned on and has had all these target dates to put this AUG plan in place in Custer County, I don't think that is relevant one whit when it comes to being whether or not we're short-sighted because we're opposed to it. Is it good for this county or not? I say no. That's why I'm opposed to it. I'm also opposed to the way they brought it to February or December the 13th. Those are the two things I'm opposed to. I don't believe this AUG plan is good for this county. I don't want to touch one other thing.
Obviously.
Yeah, okay, good.
Wow,
As
I
long as
didn't
it's
know that.
obvious. As long as it's obvious,
Has been
then I've done my job as
day
commissioner.
one.
If you said, well, I don't know how you feel about this, Tom, then I'd be a sorry commissioner. Okay?
On the other hand, how much has your vehemence colored the opinions of your constituents?
I hope it has, because that's my job.
Is it?
No,
Is
it's
it?
not. It's the
Which,
listen.
which constituents?
not
These
it.
two?
No,
Oh, okay,
constituents.
all right, sorry.
Who
I
is
thought you
the
meant
boss?
commissioners.
And who are, the people are
Right.
the boss.
Right.
And yeah, you can get people riled up and come to meetings. We've seen that over the years.
I thought you meant color these guys,
All the
co-commissioners. You're talking about citizens. Sorry.
and Jackie, I think the point that we're making, and I happen to agree, this isn't the right plan. I think we need a plan. Now, we can argue about that one way or the other,
Yeah.
but in order to have a plan, you got to talk and get it together.
And we don't disagree one iota
No, that's right.
about that.
And so, well,
Yeah, I
Well,
think
we
you
that's
put
okay.
this one off the table so we could sit down to decide what's
Right.
right
No.
for this county.
What's right, not that
No,
we need
what's
another
right
AUG
for
plan.
this
What's
county.
right for the county.
and
I'm not convinced that another AUG plan is right.
you have not
If we
seen,
do
Tom, what the
nothing-
other AUG plan is. Neither have I.
But if we do nothing,
And I'll tell you what.
that plan goes into effect if we do nothing. So we have to stand
Right.
up and
And-
say, no.
Right.
King's X.
That's right.
Get it
And
on
so
the
we're,
table
we're all
and
agreeing
let's
with
discuss.
that. Nobody's arguing with that to get this
there
plan
are still
worked
people
out.
that think that plan is a good one.
I don't
Get those
discount
people
that.
in
I
here.
understand that.
What would it,
And I want-
it to be shouted down by people who are so adamant?
I will get this gavel out, and there will be no shouting down in this
You guys
commissioner
will
meeting.
shout them down.
No, we won't. We may disagree
I
with them.
heard you
Okay,
both.
shout them down means to me, no, you don't know what you're talking about, be quiet. We've seen that in this commissioner board. That will not happen while I'm the chair. We may disagree, Jackie. You define shout down, because to me that means you just shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. That will not happen.
Okay.
And I don't believe it ever has.
Will I get emotional in my rebuttals? Damn right I will. But I'm not gonna shout anybody down.
We all get emotional in our rebuttals.
My feeling is,
But
if this doesn't pass, if this one doesn't pass, there will never be an augmentation plan in this.
I disagree, but okay.
But that's
No,
just
they-
my feeling.
that's where
I
they're
think-
headed. They're
I
gonna-
think
they'll
they
pull.
will, they will have heard loudly
But
from Custer County that we want no part of an augmentation
what
plan,
not?
and so there won't be one.
Well-
And that's fine. Only the rich then can come in and do development.
Disagree.
but-
Disagree with you, and I'll say why. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say, but that's something that I'm and the other guys are going to do. They're willing to still talk to the people of the county, not to the special committee. Let's see what happens. But that has to occur. I'm not going to give up. Not on this plan. I'm
I
not
didn't
arguing
mean
for
to
this plan.
extend
I'm
the
arguing
meeting.
for them
Because we're
not
all
to be legal.
tired and hungry, and I didn't mean to extend
Well,
the meeting.
no, that's okay. We get paid a ton of money to do exactly what we're doing right now. We don't get paid to go out and stand in the sidewalk and talk, right? You would
Yeah, I
would
would
support
hope you
that.
didn't.
Exactly. So it happens right here. I want to go back to your topic about growth or about businesses. I personally believe there's a place for businesses in this county. I don't think that is strong all over the county. That's why we have an industrial park, and that's why we have municipalities.
That's why we have
I think
planning and
business
zoning.
growth for this county needs to occur in either an industrial park or in the
I
municipality.
totally agree with that.
Not 100%, but general
I
statement.
totally agree
Okay.
with that, but Round Mountain won't be able to do it.
That
Unless
could
they
be.
can augment water.
No, they can go buy water like anyone else can.
No, they can't. If they
Yes,
don't have
they
the
can.
money, they don't have the money, Tom.
Bill,
Tom,
Well, who's
if they can't get it reasonably priced, and that's what Upper Ark is trying to do, they're not allowed to make a profit except they can make enough money to pay for the engineering and the
sir,
implement.
I beg to differ,
That's
man.
a fact.
no, that is
They
not a
make
fact.
money. What do they do with the profit, Tom?
Let
Tell
me
what they
show
do
you.
with it.
You need to start attending Upper
I-
Ark. What's the
Tom,
first
wait,
meeting? No, hold on. What's the first meeting Upper Ark has every month?
I don't know.
I do, because I said in it. It's a water enterprise group.
Oh, yeah,
What's the
I
mission
knew
for
that.
it? No, you didn't. You just
No, I
said
just
you
didn't think about
know
it. I
that.
just, okay, go ahead.
That water enterprise exists to make money.
Right. I
Don't
know
tell
that.
me they're not supposed to
No,
make money,
you
Bill.
don't have to yell.
Well,
It's
I'm
okay.
going to yell, because
No,
you
don't.
keep saying this.
No, listen. By law, they can make enough money to execute their job,
No,
Tom.
that
They
is
have to
not
hire
true,
lawyers.
Bill.
They have to be able to buy water. What do they do with the profit?
They cannot.
They go
legally-
buy water with it, so
That's
they
what
can
I
make
said.
more money.
That's what I said.
They can't
To-
speculate.
No, they can't make.
Oh,
That's
That's
that
right.
is illegal for them to
They can
speculate.
buy
It is
water
illegal
in
for
order.
individuals to speculate.
But the
Yes,
reason
ma'am.
they buy water, Tom, is to be able to serve the district to augment water if they can. They have to. That's their charter.
All right, you guys.
No.
Seriously.
That water enterprise exists to make money.
To do what?
But
Buy
Whatever
water.
they
Then what
want
are
to
they
do,
gonna do?
buy water and
Then
make
sell
more
it
money.
where?
Sell it anywhere they want.
No, they can't. They can sell it out. They can't sell it out of the district.
No, hold it. That is not 24.
You tell me they can sell it to Kansas?
The water
I don't think so.
enterprise
Yes,
has
they can.
no limitations. The Conservancy District.
That's what I said.
No, you did not, Bill.
When I talk Upper Ark, all right. So Upper Ark is two entities. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely, it's
There's
two
the
entities.
enterprise, which I know
Exactly.
exists to make money to buy water or to.
I think you know that because I just said that.
Well, I know.
Exactly. Right?
Okay.
That enterprise is to make money. The Conservancy District is to protect the water within their district boundaries. They cannot sell water out of the district. I would never disagree with that. But that enterprise district, or that enterprise, water enterprise, is a whole nother ballgame.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look into that.
Well, you should.
Because that's
because
not
you
how
need
I
to get
understood
educated.
how they're set up.
So I guess my basic point was that if somebody wants to start a little business,
In the county.
no, even in town,
Okay.
they have to have water.
Okay. Flush a toilet, drink.
Could be.
Let's say it's a
something.
brewery, then they have to have water.
Right.
Okay, let's say it's a laser engraving business. They gotta have water to flush a toilet and turn on the tap.
Or it could be a metal business.
You see where I'm headed? I mean, if we're gonna say, I wanna start a business, I gotta have water, tell me about that.
Okay, so they come before you guys for a PUD or whatever those things
SUP.
are. Dan has tried to teach me that,
Right.
but I have not got it yet.
If it was in the county, it'd be an SUP to us.
Right. But if they can't show that they have water, they
Oh.
can't even move forward with it.
True.
Okay. So they would have to go get water.
From
A
Round
water-
Mountain,
A water augmentation
no,
plan or something.
not true. That
Really?
is not true, Jackie. They could buy a water tap from Round Mountain. That does not take an augmentation water to do that.
Okay. But if they're in the county,
If there's
If they're in
They
the
would.
county, if they had Kempton got an SUP to drill a well for their business, which is what they're talking about doing it
commercial well,
at
has to
the
be a
airport.
commercial well.
The county doesn't have anything to do with that. That's state.
Right.
Okay.
So they would say, we want to open a business at the airport. Okay, show us your well permit. Bam, there it is.
So Tom,
We
you're
don't
right.
issue the well permit.
Tom, you're right, except that Round Mountain has to have enough water. There's only X taps they can supply. And
Exactly.
at some point, some business is not going to be able to.
I don't agree with that, Bill. I don't see how you could sit here and say that at some point.
If they run out of their taps, what are they going to do, Tom? Where
They
do
can go
get
buy more water. Don't tell me they can't afford it. Legally, they can go
They
buy
can
more water.
They want to augment water. That's true.
Okay?
They have to be able to get water.
They don't have to augment their water. They can go buy water.
That's
They can
augmented.
drill another well.
Sure.
They can buy another
true.
ranch.
Yeah, that's right.
That's
They can-
not
they can do that.
augmenting water from some other
No, that's
place.
buying water.
Buying water. That's what I'm saying. So we can't say at some point they're going to run out of money so that they have to have augmented water. No. If they run out of water, they can go get more water. Augmentation is one way to do that. It's sure as heck not the only way they can do it. Right?
Right.
That's a Round Mountain issue. That's not a county issue. It's going to affect the county. I get that. If a business wants to open in the county that requires a lot of business of water, and let's say it's a brewery,
Right.
obviously that's a high water user. They're going to have water, right, for their application to go through. Right. Augmentation is one way they can get it, right? They could buy it from a rancher. They could buy it from any entity that would be willing to sell water.
That's right.
Augmentation is not the only way they can do that. But we keep hearing that. If you don't have this augmented water, how's business going to operate? They can buy water.
If they have enough money.
If they have enough money.
Thank you. And
Right.
I defer to what Bill says, but it's going to be more expensive and it's going to be, well, yeah, I agree with that 100%.
So
and so they
only
need to
the-
make that case. Okay.
And so,
Now-
rich developers.
Right.
We can't have any more rich developers move in here. Well, those are the only ones that are going to be able to, are the rich developers.
And you said, and not just you, I'm not throwing darts, but the perception is out there, not conception, I apologize for that, God. The perception out there is this town is dying. I say that's a bunch of bull. How many coffee shops opened in the last 12
Oh
months?
my gosh.
Are those businesses, number one,
Yes.
yes or no?
Absolutely.
How many? 5? So when people say,
100?
you haven't had a new business, we're dying on, that's a bunch of poppycock. Is there a restaurant getting ready to open on 2nd Street? Yes. There
that's
sure as heck is. Is there a new coffee shop getting ready to open on an intersection in
Seriously?
West Cliff? Yes,
We
there
need
is.
Oh, good, because we need
Yeah.
another one.
So I struggle when people say we're dying.
Okay, I may.
No, but I'll tell you what, though,
I'll tell
Tom,
you,
we
just
do have
as part of-
the people speak, and they do want the opportunity to have the ability to get water if they need it by whatever means in the county and other places. So we sure don't want to shoot ourselves in the foot for somebody to have that ability to buy
I
water.
would like these people to
If
come
they can.
forward and talk to us. I mean,
Yeah.
so we know. I personally don't remember this board. I will tell you the previous board that I sat on did shout people down, and I was livid.
We
That's
never
another
shout
issue.
anybody down.
No, I'm saying
Maybe
this
each
board.
other.
No, we don't even shout
No,
at each
we don't
other
even
down.
do that. Like I've said to him multiple, I respect your opinion.
Yeah.
It may be different, that's fine.
Doesn't mean we
But
don't
this
get
board
it.
has encouraged people to come talk to us. Like the Neanderthal thing, I said, if you have an issue, come talk to us. Tell us what it is. Unlikely we're going to buy you a new drivetrain, but please, we want to be as open and transparent as we possibly can. So, I'm not aware of.
We have a new business in the county, relatively new, right? The meat shop out in the county. They drilled a well. Water did not prevent them from opening a business in this county.
And it costs money to open a business. I mean,
Well, yeah, it does cost money to open a
and
business.
I agree
no
with
doubt.
you. I mean, we
Now,
shouldn't make it so restrictive that only a rich person could do it.
Well, that's true.
I
We
buy that
can't talk
argument.
out of both sides of our mouth and
I
promote
buy
a
that
plan that says we want our kids to come back, we want kids to grow, we want to do X things, and we can do it controlled. We got to be able to have them have access to water by whatever means, most cost
So just to
effective.
wrap this whole thing up, if I may, and we can continue after I wrap it up, but the way I'm thinking about it. Upper Ark, I'm not even gonna say up Pierce, put through this plan, submitted it to the water court, had no input
Zero.
from water users within our county.
Zero.
That's wrong.
That's wrong.
I don't blame every single person to say, hey, wait a minute, I don't even know what the heck this is going to do. I haven't had any opportunity to speak. I don't want it. However, withdraw it, let's sit at the table, and if we can come up with a plan, I'm good. And I think that's where my mind
I think
is.
we all are.
Yeah, I would agree with Jackie, I think, on one of your premises that people that are non-water right holders are probably walking around not knowing that a lot of this is even going
I
on.
just want to make sure the toilet flushes.
People who have a well and it's working, I was just sitting here thinking, did I or do I believe these commissioners tried to load the meeting down at the bowling alley up? And I say, no. It was a natural attraction for water right holders to be there. There was no well right owners
big exception,
there
if I may.
other than
I put, and I own up to everything I do, I put on Facebook come fight for your water rights or something to that effect.
You actually did hammer him.
Okay.
Like, if you don't come, you're going to lose your water, sort of.
No,
That's how it
that-
came across.
no,
I'm
no,
just
no,
telling you
no,
how
no, I said, please come fight for your water
Fight.
rights.
Okay.
You're going to lose
And-
them.
And a
They-
well right owner wouldn't think they were a water right owner, typically.
Some would, but
Okay, no, so I
Inaccurately,
own up
but
to saying
nonetheless.
that, and I did that.
Okay,
and I
all right.
own up.
But I'll tell you what we do, and we did a good job, Tom, is when we get behind something, like the strategic plan's a good example, we got input. We generated people to come. We got people to come because of this water thing that apparently the upper arc had no ability to do, because they should have done it a lot sooner and got people
Well, they
without.
have the ability to do it.
Well, they didn't
Just
do it,
chose
is my
not to.
point.
Yeah.
I'm just saying apparently, evidently they were handicapped because they didn't do it, is
or
my point.
maybe they relied on the board
Or-
members to come
Well,
back
I don't,
and
how,
report.
by whatever method, Jackie,
I
the
don't
point
know.
is,
Buy that at all.
if we
Geez, I
get
do.
engaged, if we would have spun people up back in a year ago or something, I didn't know enough about it, neither did you. A year ago, we could have done something maybe. And if we'd have gotten behind it, we'd have had lots of these meetings and people would have been coming and they say, oh, it's going to come. When are you going to do it? What is it? Where is the line? All that kind of stuff could have been talked about. Because we would have got them spun up.
2009 problems that they encountered when they tried to put it through.
They didn't want to
They
do it.
consciously made the
They said,
decision.
I give up.
We're going to do this on our own. We're just going to do it.
Right.
I don't even want them involved. That's
Which
what I truly
I agree.
believe.
That's what
and that's
Skang
what-
has said.
And so I'm gonna, and based on what you said, Tom, earlier, I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna call Skanga up and I'm gonna ask him about this enterprise group and what their authorities really are. Because I keep getting, every time I talk to anybody, all the research I did, they cannot legally move any water if they're buying it as an enterprise for them with their name on it, and they're hammering the gavel on those guys. They're managing that team. They own it. They owe it to
Conservancy district.
That's right, because
Not the
conservative.
enterprise.
I know.
Yeah. So you just got to
I'm gonna
absolutely
find out what's
separate
going on
those
there,
two
'cause
things
that-
because they're two totally.
I know they're
separate
two
things.
enterprises or two different things,
So
but I thought they were doing it for them.
now I would think that, and I don't know how this happens. Planning Commission is having a meeting on April 15th and April 16th to discuss, and they actually want citizen input on what we should do as a county about growth in the event, about density in the event that this augmentation plan is approved by Division II Water Corp. They're not trying to load that audience up. They're hoping people will come and voice their opinion on density. And I told Vic Barnes, the chairman, I would mention that today on the record in an effort to get the word out about. That's why those two meetings were scheduled.
And that's a good idea. Get some input. Because who controls it? It's us, with input from the planning commission and people of this county.
Right.
It's not whether we can't force our own opinion. We can voice our opinions, but we need their input, and I think that's the way you control growth.
Yeah, and I think at some point as commissioners, we owe it to the voting public to voice our opinion about and on growth and density for this county. We haven't had that discussion, really.
Right.
We just got to be careful. You can't do it in a.
It's going to have to be a workshop.
It's got to be a workshop, and usually even in a workshop, if the three of us are there and we're putting an opinion through, you're actually forcing the workshop to say, okay, I got to come.
We can do it in a meeting.
Okay, so here's
I-
something
yeah,
I would
talk.
challenge you.
How to do it.
To have your IT guy print an overlay of that map with the subdivisions.
Already got it, sitting right here.
Okay.
I'll show it to you.
Because most of it is covered by
Oh,
subdivisions.
incredibly
already.
so.
Which somebody can't come in and cut up into 5-acre lots because it's already a
It's
subdivision.
already subdivided.
It's
lot of
already
cases.
zoned and covered by a lot of subdivisions. Agreed. I agree.
So,
Yeah, this is it. We'll roll it out real quick after the meeting. And that, and,
Well, I have a
and
meeting
that's,
at 1 I got to go to before.
well,
the
we
next
all
meeting.
have a meeting
At
at
2.
1:30.
hey,
Is it
I'm
1:30?
sorry, I didn't mean to extend the.
You don't have to apologize
more
to me.
than it needed to be beaten.
No,
If
it's
we
a good-
I
talked
just
about it
think
in
the
here, it probably
irony
needed to be
is-
talked about.
about.
It's just amazing that they worked so hard years ago to try and get it. and then it's like,
Right.
it's
And
a bad word now. I just think that's interesting.
in the 80s and 90s, multiple conversations with Mr. Senderhoff. He has always believed, and he would sit right here and agree with me, that this county needed an og plan. Never wavered. I admire him for that over 30 years.
He's been
He has persistently tried to convince every elected official in this county that we needed an og plan, and he did it to me when I got elected.
You know what I admire right now? I admire the public that's here. See, look at her and look at that public and that are putting up with our discussion. But the fact is, without them, we couldn't discuss this.
She doesn't get counted as public. She's on the clock.
Oh, that's true.
She's just like us. She's getting paid to be
Yeah,
here.
she's fading fast.
So thank you, Jackie, for keeping this meeting, enabling us
So
to
we
be
have a
able to
meeting
talk.
at 1:30.
Where is it anyway? Is it
It's right here.
here in this room, isn't it? Yeah,
Look, there's Jackie.
I gotta beat tracks.
Okay. Further public comment?
Please no.
Hearing none. Meeting is adjourned.
Yay!
12:55. Let the record show.
You want to